Good morning, everyone. I request everyone to be seated.
I request our esteemed guests to take their seats so that we can begin with the session. Hello, hello, hello.
Good morning, everyone. I, Ankita Mishra
And I, Kushagra Sharan,
from IFHE University, welcome you all again to Technical Session 5, Future of Work and Skill Development. In today's rapidly evolving socio-economic scenario, the future of work and skill development emerges as a critical theme that demands attention and strategic foresight. As we navigate through the fourth industrial revolution and grapple with the transformative forces of automation, artificial intelligence, and globalization, the nature of work is undergoing unprecedented change, reshaping industries, economics, and societies at large. The session on future of work and skill development endeavors to delve into the multifaceted theme, exploring the opportunities and challenges presented by the shifting paradigm of labor, technology, and education. By engaging in dialogue and collaboration, we aim to chart a course towards inclusive, equitable, and sustainable pathways for skill development and employment generation. Through the exchange of insights, best practices, and innovative solutions, we aspire to empower individuals, communities, and nations to harness the transformative potential of the future of work, ensuring that no one is left behind in the march towards progress and prosperity. Now, I would like to call upon stage Dr. Kalsi, sir.
Dr. Kalsi will be the chair of the session. I would proceed with the speakers of the session. Our first speaker is Professor Dr. Balvinder Shukla, ma'am.
Our next speaker, Professor Raj Nehru.
Our third speaker for this session is Professor Satya Gupta.
And the last speaker of the session, Mr. Praveen Dwivedi. I request Dr. Mahinder Reddy, sir, former Vice Chancellor and Distinguished Advisor of ICFAI, to do the floral welcome for Dr. Kalsi and Dr. Praveen Dwivedi. Thank you, sir. Now I request Alicia Gatpo, ma'am, the Vice Chancellor of ICFAI University, Meghalaya, to do the floral welcome. To do the floral welcome to Professor Shukla. Professor Nehru. And Professor Gupta. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you to our esteemed guests. We now move on to get acquainted with the chair of the session, Dr. Nirmaljeet Singh Kalsi. Dr. Kalsi is the chairman of National Council of Vocational Education and Training, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India. He was earlier chairman of Punjab State Police Complaints Authority after superannuating as additional CS, Home Affairs and Justice, Government of Punjab. He was in public service for 38 years, including 7 years in Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, 1 year in NTPC, and 2 years in Railways. Dr. Kalsi obtained BE in Electrical Engineering from the University of Roorkee, which is now known as IIT Roorkee, and MTech in Computer Technology from IIT Delhi. He later obtained PhD from Thapar University, Patiala. He attended executive education programs at Harvard Kennedy School and Cambridge Judge Business School. We welcome you, sir.
Our first speaker for this session is Professor Dr. Balwinder Shukla. She is the Vice Chancellor, Amity University, Noida. She has over 22 years of experience in organizations such as Shimnet Group, Intera Software, IIHT System, and Amity Group of Institution. As a director of Intera Software, she established RMG and the training department and played a pivotal role in the ISO certification for the company. As the head of corporate planning and head at Shimnet Group, she was instrumental and responsible for increasing the business turnover by 300% in the first year itself and establishing a strong process-driven organization and a strong sales force. As Vice Chancellor, she contributed immensely towards higher education. We welcome you, madam.
I now move on to our second speaker, Professor Raj Nehru, Vice Chancellor, Shri Vishwakarma Skill University, Gurugram, Haryana. Dr. Raj Nehru is the founder Vice Chancellor of the country's first state skill university. He has established an exemplary position for skill education in the country. Dr. Nehru has played a significant role in various national level committees formed for the standards of skill education and has also contributed to bringing about important changes in education in line with the national education policy. He is also credited with starting the Earn While You Learn model through on-the-job training, providing students with earning opportunities alongside their studies. For these innovative initiatives, he was conferred with National Skill-Based Training and Research Award 2023 by the Confederation of Indian Universities. Dr. Nehru was also conferred with prestigious Good Governance Award by the Haryana State Government. We welcome you, sir.
Our third speaker for the day is Professor Satya N. Gupta, Secretary General, ITU APT Foundation of India. He is an international expert in NGN technologies, regulations, interconnection, and broadband with 42 years experience in all aspects of telecom, including 25 years with government and regulators. Dr. Satya N. Gupta is publicly recognized as an analyst, author, advocate, and advisor on the ICT-related policies, projects, and businesses. A postgraduate from IISc Bangalore, Dr. Gupta served the Ministry of Communication and Ministry of Railways and rose to the level of Additional Secretary in government. He is a recipient of the coveted Minister of Railways Award for outstanding performance in digitalization projects. Based on his impact-making business model, Hotspots as Managed Service, he has been awarded PhD by Commonwealth Vocational University, Kingdom of Tonga, Asia Pac, and is also among the top 50 influencer of blockchain in India. We welcome you, sir.
I now move on to our next speaker, Mr. Praveen Dwivedi. Mr. Dwivedi serves as the Senior Vice President, Public Sector and Public Policy Affairs at VBox, an ETS company. He is a distinguished alumnus of IIM Raipur, holding a postgraduate executive certification in general management, and of ISB Hyderabad with an executive certification in understanding public policy in India. With over 20 years of dynamic experience, Mr. Praveen has excelled as a business professional in diverse sectors such as IT, telecom, healthcare, edtech, e-governance, public sectors, financial services, and public policy affairs. His professional journey includes significant roles with technology giants like Hughes, Intel, Ericsson, and Hitachi. Mr. Praveen has witnessed and contributed to the evolution of technology and its profound impact on various fields, reflecting his deep understanding of technological advancements and their societal implications. We welcome you, sir. Thank you for.
Now we will have commencement of unique initiative of AIU VBox skill report. I request to chairperson of the session, Dr. Kalsi, to come and sit by clicking the button, and I request Mr. Praveen Dwivedi, Senior Vice President, Public Sector and Public Policy of Affairs at VBox, to accompany the commencement.
Okay, we'll schedule the commencement at the last. And sir, we request you to start the session. Thank you.
No, I would like to start with the presentation. Very distinguished speakers on the dais. AIU, Honorable Vice Chancellors, I see few people from the companies as well. I'm extremely happy to be part of this deliberation. One of the most important areas we are covering today. And I'm thankful to DG Dr. Pankaj Mittal to have invited me for this session. So what we'll be doing, since we are talking about future of work and skill development, I'll cover it with the perspective of G20, whatever we decided in G20, and how we are integrating skills into every aspect of education, whether it's school education or higher education. So here specifically I'll cover the higher education part. And once I have presented, then we will request the other speakers to add their perspectives, and then perhaps we'll open the session for question answer sessions, discussions, if the time permits. Now, first of all, let me talk about future of work. Today, we are moving to Society 5.0. From information society to super smart society. And this super smart society, it has advanced AI, it has biotechnology, nanotechnology, and other cutting-edge technologies that prioritize human needs and sustainable development. This also supports Industry 5.0. But let's look at the 13 most important megatrends, transformational megatrends, which are generating future trends. I will not go into details of each one of these, but I'll name them certainly. So connectivity and convergence, where you have roadmap to 5G and now 6G, space connectivity 2.0, data monetization, edge computing, digital reality, cybersecurity, blockchain, biometrics, virtual finances. Then cognitive areas, both machine learning and deep learning, future of computing, intelligent digital assistant, RPAs, then future of devices and social media. Similarly, brick and click companies. Then smart is the new green, so we have to look at the sustainability as well. Social trends, aging population, Generation Y and millennials, they are gaining importance. Generation Z is trying to drive our growth now. Women as customers, rising middle class, neo-nationalism, future role of governments, that's also changing every day. And there are new business models which are emerging every day. And all of us, we are aware of these models, data as a service or crowdsourcing, co-creation, circular economy, personalization, customization. Similarly, health and wellness is another very important area. The other areas is innovating to zero. So we want zero waste, zero energy buildings, carbon neutral cities, zero crime rates, zero emails, so on and so forth. Economic trends, we are very comfortable. Right now, the economic power of the world is shifting from Americas to Asia. And that is a trend which is going to grow with time, which is only going to grow. And ultimately, Asia will resume its old glory. In 1 AD, we were contributing almost 25 to 30% of the global GDP. China was contributing another 25. So together we were controlling about 55, 60% of the global GDP, and that is going to come again. Then urbanization, that is city as a customer, future of infrastructure development, future of energy, and future of mobility. Mobility is going to really change a lot. Micro-mobility, ride-hailing, car sharing, ride-sharing, integrated mobility, connected cars. You must have heard of Mr. Modi's vision, now Gati Shakti, that is basically seamless mobility of goods and services. And if I look at the factors which are impacting and influencing future of work, so you can divide them into 4 broader areas with underlying drivers such as connectivity, machine capabilities, demographies, social expectations, and then economic structures, that is modularization, globalization, productivity and value proposition. Similarly, you have workforce displacement, whether through automation, through AI, or through open innovation, or through telepresence, or through virtual working. And then emerging landscape, you can see is economy of individuals, polarization of work, high performance organizations, and education and skills. These are 10 technologies which are impacting the future of work right now. There are 60 sectors of economy, and these 60 sectors, they have a cross-section with all these 10 technologies. Now, recently I was working at this, and I found that in next 10 years' time, there are 20 technologies which are going to impact. So that list I'm not sharing here. We are aware of digital transformation, that is Industry 4.0. You have certain technologies, digital technologies, like additive advanced manufacturing, augmented and virtual reality, automation and industrial robotics, blockchain, data, big data, cloud data, cyber security, cyber physical production systems, Internet of Things, Internet of Services now it has come, Internet of People, industrial Internet of Things, and then simulation and modeling. Similarly, in value chain, you have now smart customers who are connected, smart products, smart distribution, smart factories, smart supplies, smart stakeholders. However, you also have sustainable development in mind, so environmental concerns are also being addressed. Cleaner production, social sustainability, economic productivity, and environmental preservation. And if you go to Industry 5.0, you get into the emerging technology areas as well. Those are also added. And then techno-functional principles of Industry 5.0, they are now getting clearer and clearer. You can apply Industry 5.0 on all kinds of other businesses as well. So whether it is decentralization, horizontal integration, vertical integration, modularity, real-time capability, interoperability, or virtualization, all that applies. And the components like smart customers, logistics, smart products, smart stakeholders, smart supply chain, they are already there. And if you look at the emerging technologies, cognitive cyber-physical systems, cognitive artificial intelligence, human interaction and recognition technologies, extended reality, industrial smart wearables, intelligent adaptive robots, intelligent energy management system, multi-scale dynamic modeling and simulation, smart product lifecycle management. Now, all these are the components of the smart factory. And then there is hyper-connected value chain. So both are coming together. Now, if you look them at in terms of layers, you have enabling technology layer, you have emerging technology layer, you have smart components, you have value layer. And in the value layer, you can very clearly see the economic sustainability as well as the socio-environmental sustainability. Similarly, look at agriculture 5.0, from traditional agriculture to mechanization to automation to information technology and smart agriculture. Now, in some states, yeah, sorry. These are the 4 layers. Thank you for telling. I think it's very difficult for you people to actually look back. So some states are somewhere between level 1 and 2, some are between level 2 and 3, but very few states are between, say, level 4 or level 5. So that's what we are right now working at. So Agriculture 5.0, I made a detailed presentation on this to all 68 vice chancellors of the agricultural universities of the country. There are 74 of them, but 68 were present, and 108 research institutions of ICFAI. So a detailed presentation was made, and I'll share part of that presentation with you people also, because ultimately they have to work with you. They cannot do it alone. Now look at the kind of digital technology layers in agriculture which are coming up, right from data gathering to data transmission to information processing to cloud computing to data integration and analytics to user interfaces. So these layers are also coming in agriculture as well. And Government of India is doing this through DPI, Digital Public Infrastructure. Now, this concept of digital public infrastructure is outstanding. This is something which we have, whereas no other country till date has been able to establish it. So you talk about your UPI, you talk about BHIM, you talk about your Aadhaar card, your mobile, your bank account. Now, you have created such a beautiful digital public infrastructure. You have built the trust with the use of technology. And today you can access each and every citizen of the country at will. You can target the service delivery. You can target the subsidies. That is possible. And you look at the numbers, huge numbers you are creating. And education is part and parcel of this digital public infrastructure. You see the APAR number. You see now ABC has come in here, and you have seen Diksha, you have seen Skill India, you have seen virtual labs. Now all these are ultimately going to be part and parcel of this. One nation, one data, again, is same thing. Just one expansion of UPI. Every month, we are transferring something like 16 lakh crores. 16 lakh crore har mahine transfer hota hai. Now it is 18 lakh crores. So that means in 1 year, how much money you transfer? You transfer more than 200 lakh crores, whereas your national budget is 45 lakh crores. So you are rotating the same budget how many times? More than 4 times. So that is the volume of business this UPI is creating. और छोटे से छोटा person इसके साथ जुड़ा हुआ है. Now I was very surprised कि जो रोड साइड पे भीख मांगने वाले हैं, उसने भी अपने कॉले के नीचे वो अपना UPI लगाया हुआ है. आप कहते हो टूटा नहीं है, छोटा नहीं है, तो वो ऐसे कॉला उल्टा करता है, यहाँ से स्कैन करके दे सकते हो. So what we mean to say is that there is a skill shift, and this skill shift is very clear. And this skill shift requires upskilling of large workforce in India. It requires huge amount of work on part of all of us. All of us will have to work towards this. And more than 50% of our workforce would require reskilling immediately in next 1.5 years. And about 94% people would like to invest in skills. It is so important. So skills is something which goes hand in hand with the education. Some people are really scared of AI. I just wanted to say this, that if whatever you're doing has very low discretion, there is a point to worry. If there is a medium discretion of doing that work, you must evolve. If there is high discretion, then you will coexist with AI. And if there is very high discretion in that area. It's a very specialized area. There is very little AI can really do to impact you. Now, all of you are aware of the education landscape. More than 1,100 universities, more than 55,000 affiliated colleges, including engineering colleges, and more than 15 lakh schools, more than 15 lakh higher education teachers, more than 97 lakhs. Now this was 95, now it is 97 lakh school teachers. It's a huge system. And this system now must be changed. So we are now, therefore, at Education 4.0, which talks about innovation and skill-based education. So this is basically innovation, intensive approach, active and blended learning methods, cloud computing and smart technologies, and skill development for advanced industries. That's what we are doing. So all of you are aware of the NEP. But NEP now is being implemented through something called the National Credit Framework. You must be aware of this, which talks about each and every component of the NEP. It takes it up and it implements it in a way that you are able to seamlessly do that right from your Anganwadi education to PhD level. So the entire school is covered, the entire skill is covered, the entire higher education is covered, and you can actually creditize all learning. You can give credits even for Anganwadi. Whatever the child learns in Anganwadi, right from there you go up all the way to PhD. And you have all kinds of provisions. Now, this is being implemented through 3 qualification frameworks. One is the National Higher Education Qualification Framework, the National Skill Qualification Framework, and National Curriculum Framework. So these 3 frameworks, this curriculum framework is for school education. So these 3 frameworks are there to implement. And if you really look at it, it's a 3-dimensional matrix, wherein on x-axis you can see the academics. From level 1 to 4 is school education, 4.5 to 8 is higher education. On y-axis you can see the skill axis, which is level 1 to 8. On z-axis you can see the experiential learning. And all 3 axes, they presume 1,200 hours of learning per year, which is very important. 40 credits for 1,200 hours of learning. It's up to you. Higher education says 15 hours of lecture is 1 credit, 30 hours of practical is 1 credit, 45 hours of experiential learning is 1 credit, that's fine. But on an average for school education and skill education, it is 30 hours per credit. That's how it is implemented. And the most important part is that up to 50% of the credits you can earn from skill-based courses. Up to 50%. Right now, very few universities are going beyond 600 to 700 hours a year. So you already have about 500 hours available to you. 500 hours of additional learning you can perform for your students. And if you do that, I see no reason why these students will not get placement in the market. So that is the continuum we are talking about, right from your Anganwadi worker, 5 years of foundational course, right up to PhD, which you can see in yellow, level 8. So 5th class is level 1, 8th class is level 2, 10th is level 3, 12th is level 4, then it goes up 4.5 first year, 5 second year, 5.5 third year. If it is a 4-year course, then it is 6, and then the master's 6.5 and 7, then finally PhD is 8. And you can reach these levels with the combination of academics, skills, and experiential learning. So that is the best part of it. Similarly, there's the NCRF provides for all kinds of provisions. They are given in detail. The SOP was also put in the space for public consultation. That's already ready, may be notified within this week. So credit assignment, credit accumulation, storage, redemption, transfers. Similarly, every learning hour is to be creditized. So you have to define the learning outcome. You have to redesign your courses in such a way that instead of syllabus, you first define the learning outcomes, then you map with qualification NOS, courses and MC, then assignment of appropriate NCRF levels, then you define the assessment methodology, you conduct the course and then carry out the assessment, and finally you award the credits. So you creditize basically every course, every learning. So you have actual provision for educational acceleration, you have provision for hackathon and Olympiads. Also, we are creating provisions for recognition of prior learning in higher education. A committee has been created by UGC. The committee is likely to submit its report within a month and a half. Before next session, we are thinking that we'll do it. This is already done by the sort of school education as well as the skill education. It's already available. It's already notified. Similarly, all other activities can also be creditized. So levels, you can see what corresponds to which level you are aware. So that was for higher education. This is for skill education. It goes from level 1 to level 8. And there are skill courses which have already been designed at various NSQF levels and NCRF levels. And basically NSQF and NCRF, they are absolutely the same level. And so is NHGKF level. They are all aligned. There is no difference. So you already have 3,861 skill courses which are available. Out of these, all courses which are more than 4.5, level 4.5, you can pick up those courses and integrate those courses in your syllabus directly. And that will become part and parcel of your syllabus. And similarly, the soft skills are also part of this. So these have been put in 9 categories: communication skills, interpersonal, social skills, cognitive and metacognitive skills, citizenship and constitutional values, digital fluency, then English and foreign language skills, workshop and job-related skills, foundational skills, and self-employment and entrepreneurship skills. And we have 50 sub-components of these skills. Now, if you typically look at any higher education qualification, now this is the UGC chart. So whether it's a 3-year course or a 4-year course, whether out of major or out of the minor stream, you can take up to 50% skill programs. And that you can do everywhere. So there is a possibility, and all sorts of learnings are now allowed, whether you want to mix it with project work, or you want to mix it with on-the-job training, or with internship, or now apprenticeship as well. So all these methods would be available. We have also come up the functionalities for various universities, what general universities are doing and what skilled universities are doing, because there's a lot of demand from the skilled universities. So, for example, in general university, the entry criteria is 10+2, while for skilled universities, it is 10th grade. Now, it is 10 plus 2 years is ITI, ITI plus 2 years is diploma, diploma for 1 year is UG degree, and diploma for 2 years is UG degree with honors. So that is how now UGC recognizes it. And similarly, you can have courses, 50% courses which are NSQF line. This is already notified. This is already there. That's in space. So future skill qualifications, we are working on these. Honorable Prime Minister, he personally tasked us that to develop these future qualifications. So we identified sectors, we identified future qualifications, and till date, 379 qualifications are available, and out of this, more than 200 qualifications are for higher education itself. And those qualifications are available on the National Qualification Register. You are free to go and check those qualifications and pick up those qualifications, integrate into your curriculum. And the qualifications are of all kinds: 3D printing, 5G, 6G technology, EV, automation, IoT, IIoT, automation and RPA, cloud computing, electronic design, AI, ML, data analytics, cyber security, AR, VR technologies, mechatronics, CAD/CAM, VLSI design, health tech, drone tech, green hydrogen, blockchain, biotechnology and bioinformatics, sustainable agriculture, and there are many other areas, 62 qualifications in those areas as well. And now, nationally, we have been tasked to work for future technology, skilling framework for future technology. I just want to mention it here. I don't want to go into details. So green skills, green energy skill framework, digital skill framework, national plan for AI skills, and national plan for semiconductors. Out of these four, three are ready. Fourth one, we are still working on it. So that will be out within a month and a half. So the framework has some principles. Similarly, you look at the digital skills framework, just to give you a peep, I would be sharing some of these slides, so you'll be able to see. Similarly, AI for all, AI for many, and AI for few. So that's the concept. And money would be available from MIT for taking up these courses. So the courses are already there, as I showed you. Number of courses have been designed, and these courses are basically industry-ready courses. And how these courses are going to be implemented, that has also been decided. There are a number of stakeholders, and these stakeholders are actually working very seamlessly to deliver these courses. So design these courses and deliver the courses. Similarly, semiconductor industry, we are still working on it, the entire value chain. Some of the courses which we are thinking of designing. Similarly, green energy, some of the courses which we are thinking of designing across the value chain of green energy. And green energy also has other components integrated. So Industry 5.0, Sustainable Development Goals, agriculture. So agriculture, again, we have identified a large number of courses which we are going to actually roll out. And we are still working on these courses. So as I told you, higher education institution can just pick up the qualification. If you integrate this qualification as part of your curriculum, you need not ask NCVT. You need not come to me. But if you want to offer this qualification for a student who is outside your ecosystem, then you can become the awarding body of NCVT, which is a very simplified process. And then the qualification, whatever you bring in, would be approved at the national level. And you can also use the Skill India logo. So NCVT would be happy to give you all kinds of help, assistance in becoming the awarding body. So I would like to stop here, and I would like to now invite the other speakers to give their thoughts on skill development, future of work and skill development. Thank you so much.
Front consultant. Very good morning. Many thanks to AIU for giving this opportunity to me. And I want to thank our chair who has covered all aspects of future of work and skill development. So where Professor Kelsey has left, I will add further for the workplace and skill development. So since the vision document for Viksit Bharat has come, and if we link with the Viksit Bharat 2047 and during the Amrit Kal, how we can achieve that goal. So the first and foremost sector which Viksit Bharat is the empowered citizen, and how that through the affordable health, wellness, education and skilling, women-led development and caring and inclusive society to be achieved. And more than 10% of the in global agri and allied exports, and also to be the integral part of global value chain, manufacturing hub, and the service hub, the India to be, and the two the amongst top 3 global tourism destinations by 2047, and India to be the sporting hub and amongst the top 5 innovative countries globally, and the global renewable energy hub and the global startup capital. That's what is envisioned for India. And amongst the cleanest manufacturing, the hub in India to be. So if we look at the, Dr. Kelsey has given the long list of the skill set, but I think these are some of the future jobs by 2030, by when we are looking at the industry 4.0 not only, but the industry 5.0, the kind of the disruptive technologies and the challenges for the sustainable economy has come. So these are some examples of the kind of the job roles are going to become in future. And the factor which are influencing, Professor Kelsey has given a very elaborate list and how the national credit framework and the NEP 2020 and other aspects, how those are going to reform the education in India and moving towards the skilled education for the industry ready talent. But these are because the kind of the technological changes that are happening and the economic and societal changes are taking place, and the challenge in finding profession with the right skills. You know, the many times, and Praveen will be sharing that the kind of the skills are in the higher education institution and what the industry is looking at. The VBox has been doing this testing for a number of years. And there's no matter what we are trying, but still there's a gap is always there because the job roles and the skills are changing so fast. The normal curriculum of the academia cannot keep pace that unless it adds the skill courses, that within the curriculum as well as the beyond the curriculum, to incorporate the immediate changes and the immediate requirement of the industries are there. That means the lecture mode teaching has to move to the practical based teaching, to the self-work or projects based learning. And also the job kind of the work functions are changing immensely. The way the finance person has worked a couple of years back and the way today is working and the way the person will work, maybe the technology will become the biggest advisor in many ways, even for the financial decisions. And the jobs are going to be more widely defined and not the ring-fence jobs which have been in the past. And we could see that, yesterday I was at the symposium at Deloitte and where they were talking about why the higher education institution cannot complete the BTech in 2 years and give the 2 remaining years to the industry for doing the project-based learning and the skill development, so that industry does not waste time in training the graduates, and you give whatever the student do in the industry. You give the credit for that and give them the 4-year BTech degree. That's the kind of demanding industry is coming, but the education institution, not to bow down to this kind of demand, but at the same time working on the curriculum which imparts the knowledge which is the most important, and then also add on the skills for that particular area, but the knowledge is forever and need to be gained from time to time. But the skills can be developed for any job or any role at very shorter pace for that. And then when we look at the, what are the changing job markets and what are the career demands, there's a whole long of list, and Professor Kelsey has also mentioned the very long list. So these are some of them which have been highlighted. That the most important is how we develop our students who are adaptable and develop the lifelong learning, because whatever the higher education gives, that is not going to be sufficient, but they have to learn how to upgrade their knowledge and how to upgrade their skill sets as per the changing job roles and demands. The person does not work on the same job role lifelong. Those keep on changing as per the business opportunities, as per the business demands within the 6 months, or maybe within the 1 year, or maybe within few months. And then the need to have more of growth mindset than looking at what I'm doing, whether it's impacting on the business or not. So therefore the industry is looking for more of a growth mindset, and the consistent upskilling and the reskilling is the need of the hour. And therefore we have to develop that habit in our students while they're in university. So that means the most of the project-based learning, and then the advanced project level learning is very important. That will not only develop their skills, but upskills of the students, depending on how complex projects for each course, or the integrated projects for all the courses of the semester can be given to the students. And then is developing the transferable skills or seamless transition across industry roles. So in all the comprehensive university have the multiple disciplines, so therefore the student can be given in the multidisciplinary areas where the faculty from the multiple departments can guide and support them, mentor them. For example, the AI application, if it can be into the aerospace engineering, it could be automobile engineering, it could be the law, it could be any other functional or departmental area where the AI can be used. The database is going to the future currency, and how the data analysis can be taught to the irrespective of which discipline the students, whether they are from psychology or from the engineering or management or law or any other discipline. Agility, collaboration, digital transformation, resilience and adaptability, enhancing change as a constant, and embracing the change as a constant, and developing critical thinking and problem solving. That's going to be the skill in great demand in times to come, and how that can be taught to rather than develop that skill in the students while they're in the university system. Effective personal and virtual communication with the student, and I think during the COVID pandemic we have witnessed how many times it has been very difficult to communicate online, but having that communication etiquettes online or virtually are equally important. And soft skills and emotional intelligence, creativity, empathy, those are another set of skills which are going to be greater needs than what were in the past. And therefore, if we are envisioning for the next 23, 25 years, and Professor Kelsey has given a very good framework that how those Viksit Bharat skill set is going to, and how the confluence of various systems, processes, technologies, pedagogy and practices have to converge to build that kind of the skill set for the different job roles and for different industries, vertical transition as well as for the horizontal transition. And I think the AI or the data science or IT is going to be an integral part of all kind of the job roles. And this is going to be the basic hygiene factor. But how to bring that in the nature and the skills and learning of the students, irrespective of. There was a time when the arts humanities student felt that it's not really needed, but today if you look at the data science or the AI or the other aspects are extremely important for the students' learning. Mapping and student or the employees' aspirations with the future skill sets is very important. It's not only the what students have to be taught, more important, how the faculty can be, that continuously professional development happens and they learn the new technology, new skills to transfer in the students, and how the, and then also the important is how to develop the global skill sets in the students. And therefore, the core or the common skills which will be across all discipline, all domain, but then will be the sector-specific skills. So therefore, why the courses are being, skill-based courses are being developed is important, that the common core skills, how can be brought in all the programs, in all the, irrespective whether they're the 3-year program or 4-year program or the 5-year program, but the sector-specific, the skills need to be worked with the industry and maybe the industry-based certifications and other skills through the NPTEL may be integrated. So these are some of the examples of the common skills and the industry-specific skills. When we look at the Viksit Bharat, that for the Viksit Bharat, what have been the broad major goal have been set under the each sector and the Viksit Bharat, and then what kind of skills and traits are there. So these are the few of the examples that infrastructure development, and then the manufacturing where the infrastructure world-class multi-modal, the infrastructure technology enabled, and then the Bharat headquartered the manufacturing firm to be the global champion and world cleanest manufacturing. And accordingly the skill set which are needed and we need to be how we can integrate in our curriculum or the value addition courses. And then the digital public infrastructure, 30 national open digital ecosystems and the clean energy and climate action. To be the energy independent by the 2047, that's the vision has been set. And then what kind of the initiative or the skills we need to take to achieve this goal. And then the education and skill development, largest higher education ecosystem in the world. And how, and also the healthcare and well-being being among the universally accessible, high quality, affordable and comprehensive healthcare, and be the source to the world when it comes to the traditional medicine, and how we can achieve this and against the initiative and the skills which are needed. Accordingly, those can be developed. And then is the agriculture and rural development. Professor Kalsi again has mentioned a lot about this. And then the technology and innovation, when talk India to be among the top 5 innovation nations in the world, that means a great opportunity for all of us, and how we can inculcate or integrate in our education research innovation which will lead to the one side the commercialization of technology and the other side the startup and entrepreneurship development. And then the finance, world-class financial sector to be, and how the technology will be integrated and what kind of the various technological solution will be there, to the extent technology will be an advisor, IT advisor for the finance to the individuals. And then tourism again, in the Viksit Bharat, we said that India will be among the top 3 tourism destinations. And what kind of the skills, competencies and initiative require the sustainable tourism management, digital marketing and technology, culture and diversity awareness, accessibility and inclusive design skills, experiential tourism and storytelling skills. So many initiatives skills need to be developed in this tourism. I think all comprehensive university in all the sectors, I think the opportunities are there for the employability of the graduates and the requisite skills to be developed by having the multidisciplinary approach and the industry alignment. Startup again, the global startup hub to India to be, that's what the Viksit Bharat has envisioned. I think the startup, there's no particular sector, all sectors have the equal opportunities. It's only the quality of idea and the initiative and passion of individual can really bring those startups in various, it's only how the higher education give the opportunity to take to develop that kind of culture in the institution. So these are the roadmap to Viksit Bharat Phase 1 by 2030, and finally is what the strategy are, the curriculum mapping and alignment with the industry is very important. Industry engagement for experiential learning through project-based learning and apprenticeship, or internship or skill-based certification courses or industry-led degree program. Technology integration and digital transformation aligned with the career aspiration for the specific job role, whether the student wants to go for startup or corporate career or higher education or the family business or the competitive examination. For each, the different kind of the support the students need. And then the global exposure through collaboration for student exchange, joint degree or training or the dual degree program, or continuous profession development of the faculty, and the use of AI and database in whether it is the teaching learning, whether it's employability, or whether it's the faculty development and student support. That's all from my side. Thank you very much.
So I have been given instructions to keep track of time at two places. Here is one more note I have in front of me. But good morning, and Honorable Chair and my fellow colleagues on the dais, my respected Vice Chancellors, academicians, in case there are any industry professionals. So good morning, and this topic has already been covered with complete elaboration, detail by Dr. Kalsi and my colleague, Professor Balvinder. So I'm not going to get into that because that will make repetition. So let me share a couple of examples. In my 25 years of IBM, I spent almost 15, 17 years in IBM. And I used to head HR in India for almost 3, 4, 5 years, and then later moved into a global role and used to hire leadership development professionals, human resource development professionals for the larger South Asian geography. So what we used to do at that time, because we had to get data from various regions, as an HR head and as an L&D head, I had to get data from different regions. So I would normally have youngsters coming as graduates with IT skills who can do some pretty good work in Excel and collect data from different regions on human resource management and development part. And then every month we used to have a monthly review meeting, and in that meeting we had to present that data to our CEOs, CFOs, so that the monthly progress can be reviewed. So normally what we would hire is graduates with IT skills. And the expectation was that they can work in Excel, they know the pivot tables, they can do some VLOOKUP, and then they can provide some report to us. But in last few years, because I have moved to university model from a corporate, I have been interacting very regularly with my HR colleagues, and they say, now we hire graduates, but we don't expect them only to know the VLOOKUP. We don't want them only to be expert in pivot and analyze the data and present to us. We want them to prepare the reports out of it. We want them to provide us with the larger depth of the information. And that has made them to change the profile of hiring that they used to hire earlier. So the skill sets that are expected from graduates in terms of not only being able to work on a data set, but also interpret the data and convert the data into a presentable report where decisions can be taken at the higher level. And this has gone across with many professions, like marketing as a profession. So earlier we used to hire marketing professionals that they should be able to run campaigns, but today we are looking at marketing professionals not only who can run campaigns, but who can design campaigns and who can work and integrate with the larger technology. So there's a very big shift in the way recruiters are today changing the recruitment profiles. Now, why am I telling this to you? Why I'm telling this to you is because ultimately these institutions are looking at academic institutions, and they expect that what changes are happening inside the industry, what kind of job roles are getting emerged and changed in the industry, the educational institution should be able to provide us that information or provide that kind of data. Now, when I looked at it a little bit more closely, what I found when I left the corporate, the kind of business model we were at that time. You see, in corporate or in a business world, there are two important things. One is the human resource, and on the other side is the revenue. So during my time, it was a linear business model. You know, on the one side, your growth is coming by growing the business, and on the other side, you are increasing the headcount. So there's a linearity between the growth and the headcount. But in last 10 years, I have seen there's a complete non-linear business model becoming prevalent in the industry. So no more is the growth aligned with the growth in headcount. So even if we grow from $100 million to $200 million, there is no guarantee that manpower will go from 100 to 200. So there is opposite to it. Companies are growing, but manpower is reducing, which is putting a terrible pressure on the kind of human resource they need, because the technology is completely disrupting. The new ways of works are happening inside the industry. So it's putting a terrible pressure. And I find, as an academician in last 10 years, by virtue of my role, I find there is an entanglement between the employer, the educatee with the educator. So these three dots I find a triad where the educator is getting entangled with the employer and the educatee. Whatever is changing. So in the quantum mechanics, we say if there is a change in one subatomic particle, the another atomic particle will also get impacted. Similarly, there is a quantum impact here, this entanglement impact. Whatever changes are happening at the employer place, whatever changes are happening at the educatee place, because the educatee learning styles are also changing. The new millennials have got different learning styles. So these two changes are having a significant impact on how the educator has to respond. The slides that Mr. Kalsi presented, slide number 22, is the crux of everything that he has shown to us. 50% you can go, and the flexibility of 50% to skills. Multi-entry, multi-exit. I think most of the people need to understand this multi-entry, multi-exit. It's not simply that, you know, at the 4.5 to 5 level, you can make an exit with a UG certificate or a UG diploma. It's not so simple. If we go by a vertical mobility and then exit, it requires, in the vocational model, it requires at each level to be mapped to a relevant job role. For example, if we are designing a program, 3 years undergraduate program, say in mechanical manufacturing. Now in mechanical manufacturing, you will have to go and work and understand with industry that if there is a student who wants to exit after 12 with 1 year, what kind of job role will there be available in the industry, and that job role, the occupational standards of that job role need to be integrated in that first year, and that job role will become the exit for that level. So if someone is exiting at 4.5 to 5, the exit has to be mapped to a specific job role. Then it makes a purpose that the student exits and moves and does a job for which a vocation is waiting for him or her. And then from 4.55 to 5.5, if we are not mapping with relevant job roles, and how will you map with relevant job role? You will have to go and discover this with the industry. So there's a huge skill set required by a professor or a teacher, how to go and do that consulting assessment, discovery with the employer and find which job roles I must pick up and which job role occupational standards I must integrate into my 3-year undergraduate degree program, so that there is a potential mapping of candidate, student with that job. And for this, there's a very important need that a faculty has to be skilled on moving out of the campus and engaging with the industry. Now for this, academic institutions also need to understand the workplace, what we saw, the future of work. Future of work is not only in the industry, the future of work is also inside the campus. Because what is changing outside in the industry, the work the nature of work, the nature of teachers' work, the nature of non-teachers' work will also change. So the future of work is also changing inside the organization. So the professional development of our faculties also require a very significant and very disruptive change. And I would request Dr. Kalsi, because he's at the decision level, one important way the faculties can be aligned, because today one of the biggest challenges I have experienced is the mindset. And the second thing is the right professional skills. The professional skills need to have a larger component where faculties are working in industry. Now, there is no standard mechanism today available in the academic institution. So I would request at the policy level, there must be an exchange model where faculties exchange with the industry professionals. They come and they work in the industry. Like for example, UGC has brought in the professor of practice, but that's only one side. They are going to come. Whether they will come or not, that's $1 million question. But from our side, can our faculty go and spend 1 year, 6 months in some exchange model in the industry, in that role where the faculty is either doing research or the faculty is going to develop some programs? So I think there's a lot of disruption required inside the campus if you really want to make sure that the world of work that is changing outside, the world of work inside the campus is getting aligned with that. And the last thing is, remember, the students' learning styles are also changing. Their expectations are changing. They are no more interested into the class where we come and use the chalk and talk model. They are more interested in looking at how teacher is becoming a role model, how teacher is inspiring them, how teacher is facilitating the content or the topic, how teacher is using innovative practices, whether it's a microblogging or whether it is using certain gaming or certain simulations. But for that, teachers also have to learn the skills of developing such kind of mechanisms. So their pedagogical interventions have also to be aligned with the learning styles as well as the changing business model. So I'll stop here because time is short. We'll handle these things in question answer session. But I think Professor Kalsi and NCVT has done a disruptive work. Please look at the slide 22 and some specific recommendations they have made. It's wonderful. It's tectonic shift in the academic world, and if it is adhered to, I think India can achieve that 2047 dream of becoming a developed nation. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It's indeed a great pleasure and honor to be here, and for that I'm really thankful to AIU, Dr. Pankaj and Dr. Sharma for inviting me here. And my job is already done actually by the chairman, Dr. Kalsi. As you know, everything was covered, and then Professor Shukla and now Professor Nehru. Most of the things are already covered, so I'll not like to repeat, and time is also there. But 2-3 perspectives which have come from my own experience, and also the 3 presentations which have already been made. As the session is on the future of work and future of skills. So what is the future of work? It has become very clear now. It is very, very uncertain, very, very unpredictable, and I can tell it is flexible and dynamic. And if we go by new normal clause during COVID, it is also called work from anywhere, WFA. So it is not working from office. Neither it is just working from home. It will be working from anywhere. And that is what it makes it very flexible and dynamic. And for that, actually, what is happening, all the jobs basically are going towards what we call everything as a service. Earlier there were product, there were managed services, there were professional services. Now everything is becoming a service. So the job, and if you want the students or the job seeker to get the job or to increase his employability, he should be capable of delivering everything as a service. So that will be another requirement of this. And now Dr. Kalsi already have described the future skills actually. The job, what I mentioned, can also be summarized in what is called the VUCA environment, VUC environment, which was written by Dr. Venkatesan when he was the Microsoft chairman. The VUCA stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. That is what will happen to the job market. But we have to have the jobs. Actually, now everyone is talking about the jobs because of the unemployment thing, and a lot of graduates are unemployment, and then we have what is called demographic dividend. So we have a lot of people who should be given job, who are job seeker actually. So for that, what is to be done? And for that already the curriculum and lot of new skills which are required have been captured by Dr. Kalsi and Dr. Shukla and Professor Raj also. So what is required is, like, you know, there are soft skills, there are technical skills, and now here what will be required is sort of multiple skills actually. A single skill or just the soft skill is not enough. Just the technical skill will not be enough. So a combination of all that. So for that, I will like to call a category of skill called foundational skill. A foundational skill will be that skill which is must for everyone to become employable. The foundational skill. And what it should consist of? It should, of course, consist of the salient or critical skills which have been already listed and talked about, some of the soft skills, some of the technical skills, and some of the future skills also. So actually they will fall under the category of what we can call professional skills. Professional skills, if they can be taken out from the various categories which have been discussed here, and in a McKinsey report, that category what I'm hinting at is also called Delta. Delta stands for distinctive element of skills and attitudes. Distinct elements of skills and attitudes. So it's a combination of soft skills and hard skills, and that is for the future. And there are 4 categories of that as per my knowledge. The one category which can provide you delta skills or a combination of these multi-skills, one will be your intelligent rigor, and that is cognitive skill. Cognitive skill is very, very important for future, even today, but for future it is a must, cognitive. Then the interpersonal, what we also called human skill, or earlier days soft skill. Cognitive, interpersonal, and then self-leadership. Self-leadership means will make you also self-employable. The self-employable means instead of job seeker, you can become the job giver, the entrepreneurship actually. So that is another skill. And last skill required for that is digital. Of course, we are in the future, digital. Everyone has to have a digital skill. Like earlier days, the foundational skills were 3 R's, as you know, read, write, and arithmetical. So now read, write, arithmetical, and digital. If you are not digital, so you are of no use to anybody actually. That is what will happen. So these 4 categories of skills, if can be put together in a module, to be named anything, but let us call it a foundational skill bucket, and in that you put all these things. So irrespective of any category, any level, whether it is graduate, undergraduate, postgraduate, whether it is any of the STEM category, science, technology, engineering, whatever it is there. So this module of the foundational skills, the professional skills, these 4 categories, have to be there in every curriculum. It is a must to move further in the category. So that was about the skill, but I'll also like to compliment the yesterday's President paper by Dr. Sharma, and he's talking about the credentialing and also ABC, so many things are there. So for that, I will also like to mention the technology on which I'm working. That is called blockchain. All of you know distributed ledger technology. What it brings to the table to anybody, and including the academic institutions or the skill councils or the higher education, it brings decentralization, the trust, the transparency and efficiency. Whatever work you want to do, whatever, even in examination, you can have digital examination, decentralized examination. And it is not new. It was there when I was doing my master's in ISC Bangalore, and that was 45 years back. The examination was digital, in that sense decentralized. We can appear any day, any time, from anywhere. That was the things. So that is what is required. That is decentralization of the accreditations, also centralized, and then validation can also be decentralized. Everything can be decentralized through blockchain, and that is a technology which you have to use as the institution of higher education. So with that, I'd like to thank all of you for this opportunity, and most of the things were already covered, so I just brought my own perspective now. Thank you.
Now we Now we will have commencement of unique initiation of AIU VBox skill report. I request Honorable Chairperson of the session, Dr. Kalsi, to come and sit by clicking the button, and I request Mr. Praveen Dwivedi, Senior Vice President, Public Sector and Public Policy of Affairs at VBox, to accompany. I also request President AIU, Professor G.D. Sharma, and Secretary General AIU, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Madam, to join us for the commencement.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Mittal, G.D. Sharma ji, AIU, who gave us this opportunity to be here and commence the India Skills Report. Thank you so much, Nirmal sir. You have been always a guide to us, and thank you all distinguished members, panelists here at the dais. Such a auspicious day. It's Ram Navami, and we have all the academicians, all distinguished vice chancellors here. So I think nothing better than this. In your presence, we can vouch for making India Skills Report 2025 a big success.
So let me tell you a little background about India Skills Report, what we do. This is our study which would talk about a global employability test, where we go and talk to the students and we take the assessment. And what does it take is, it takes close to 75 minutes, 75 questions, 90 minutes of theirs, and we check 6 attributes which make them more employable. So that's where we talk about India's Skills Report. And this is what we have been doing for more than a decade. This will be the 11th edition of report, and we have been into this journey making India's Skills Report for the country. And I think, you must have all some time or the other, what must have witnessed. And with AIU, with the support of AIU and our partners, your support, we see the kind of participation which comes here. The only request, last year we had a participation of 3.88 lakh students whom we could reach out to. This year, all of our partners, including CII, AICT, AIU, we have all vouched for going at least to 1 million students. And there, definitely, I would need all of your help. Now, when we look at what we are going to talk here is the emerging trends. And emerging trends, currently till date, if you look at 5 million students would have taken this. And this is the cycle when we started way back in 2013, how AIU came, how other partners like AICT and Google came in. Then we have ETS, this is best news which we have in the last 10 years. ETS, the world's largest research company and assessment company, has acquired VBox in 2023 November. So we are ETS VBox now. The framework of the assessment is based on the World Economic Forum recommendations, which talks about technology use and development, which talks about working with people, problem-solving skill sets, and the self-management. This is how the World Economic Forum suggests us to do. If you look at the competency which is being measured here, is digital fluency, critical thinking, that's the ability which will come as a question in those all 75 minutes of question which they will do. English language proficiency skills and numerical understanding. So these are the areas which is being tested while we are looking at the competency skill framework. If you look at from a scalability, the platform is absolutely robust. Now we work in the assessment place with the larger universities like BITS Pilani, Pune University, and so on and so forth. We are working with the enterprise section. We work a lot with the government of India for assessing, And so it's absolutely scalable. There is an ease of integration, definitely. So if you look at from a larger perspective, we are absolutely a robust platform to offer any set of services. And the test details would be, it's an English language test. Mode would be online, and reports are instant. That's how it works. The process is like, the campuses first register themselves. Once the campus has registered themselves, on 1st of July, this test will get open. So the registration can happen today onwards. So I request all the members from the universities here, all the VCs, all the professors, that you should tell your campuses to register themselves first, and then from 1st of July, the test would be available for all the students to be taken. So they go and register themselves. Once they have registered, they can go and take the test, and of course that the report will be generated. And with that report, we do our own data intelligence, and after that, the skills report 2025 will be unveiled in the month of November, most likely. The partners, thank you so much to all our partners, Association of Indian Universities. Pankaj ma'am, you have been really an appreciation to us. You have such a support to us. Can't forget it. AICT, Dr. Sitaram is here. He has also been a great support to us. Google definitely as a partner has been done. CII, since day one, we are working with CII, and tagged as one of the People's Strong's offshoot company. So so what we do is, I leave you with this page. Please take a note of it. You just click a photograph. However, AIU has already sent an email to close to 1,000 universities where all the details has been shared where the campus registration would happen. And please, I request all of you, make sure that we reach 10 lakhs. It's not a big deal. What you need to do is you need to just help me out, help us out, and this is absolutely free of cost. Look at the kind of value what a student would derive after taking the test. They will get to know how employable, what is the area of interest, and basis this, we give this report to the employers who would bring in similar kind of skill sets. So that's pretty much from my end. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'll take a leave now, sir. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank all panelists for their wonderful presentation. And last, the employability test, the global employability test, a very, very noble idea. Now the house is open for question answers. I am told the time is short. So I have already received 2 questions. First question is how to shoo away the social media, which is impeding the learning in the university. Professor Krishnanath Pandey. So I would like to say, why shoo away social media? Why don't you harness social media and make it part of the teaching process, learning process? Not teaching process, but learning process. So I think now the time has come when we must understand our millennials, especially the generation Z and the generation next. We were trying to find out their attention span. And we found that the attention span was not more than 7 minutes even for very mature people. While for others, it was less than 2 minutes. So if you really want to connect with those kids, social media is the only way possible. So you'll have to break up your session into nano learnings. And these nano learning bites should then be pushed to the students in such a way that they enjoy going through these. So I think it's extremely important. We must set up, I would request AIU to kindly set up a special committee on this as to how social media could be harnessed for integration with the learning process. इस पे काम होना चाहिए. Now there is another question on the verifiable fact. All the nations are submitting positive reports regarding their accomplishments with respect to the Sustainable Development Goals. तो इसमें दिक्कत क्या है? मैं क्वेश्चन समझा नहीं. Mr. Ganesh.
I request the volunteer to please give the mic to Dr. Ganesh.
Please give him mic.
Volunteers, please hand over the mic.
Namaste, sir. Thank you very much.
Namaste, ji.
I'm right at the back, so thank you very much. I think you've posed the question that I have shared with. It's actually for everybody. It's something that has bothered me a lot. Every country on earth is giving positive reports about their accomplishment and work towards the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals. But when you look at the numbers dealing and the dates corresponding to the World Overshoot Day, clearly the planet is losing. How is it that the countries are winning but the planet is losing? It doesn't make any sense to me, sir.
See, it's a much larger question. I appreciate your concern. But when we talk about the development goals, every country has its own limited view of looking at it. No country is going to come back and tell you that we are doing badly here. They'll only tell you that they're doing badly only if they get paid for this. Only if somebody is ready to give them money for that. You see, wherever you provide some kind of a grant for a particular development goal, people will say either truth or they'll say over truth. Usko bhi par kar jayenge. So ultimately this happens. It is basically for the country's own political system, country's own governments and the conscience of the citizens, which will have to really work together to actually achieve these goals. So I fully agree with you, but then there is no single answer to this. So that's all I can say right now.
Thank you.
Now the other question is, what type of package of skill courses are required for UG, PG students for employment? Does one size fit all? Or should the package be different for social sciences, humanities, management, physical sciences, etc., etc.? So I would like to share here that what we have done, we have extensively researched and identified 150 micro skills, which are employability skills, soft skills and life skills, 150 of them. And then we have bunched them up into 50 subgroups. And these 50 subgroups are then put up in those 9 boxes which I showed you. So those 9 boxes actually contain 50 subgroups, and those 50 subgroups have all 150 variants of those soft skills. Now these soft skills, one can choose, one can make their own bouquet. And that bouquet will depend upon the kind of subject you are going through. In fact, what we have done, for each of these art subjects, we have identified the kind of skills which will go with it. I was just showing my panelists here that work is already complete. No, I did not get time to present it here, otherwise I could have presented it here. We are developing 4 variants of these 50 subgroups. One variant is 30 hours, which is basically for those people who are working at low end. Most of them are either semi-literate or illiterate. So whatever skills we provide them, that will be through audio-video mode. Then next would be 60 hours, which would be for those people who are working at the level of the junior technician or senior technician. And then comes the graduates and people who are working in higher order. So 90 hours and 120 hours. Now these 2 different variants are also being prepared. And the course curriculum is ready for this. And for making this course curriculum, we have involved very large number of companies as well as some of the best groups who are already working on these skills. And we will convert these into soft modules, e-modules. And all these e-modules are going to be available to all of you free of cost. They would be available through either the Skill India digital portal or also on the Swayam Plus portal. So students can pick up the skills out of this bucket and they all will be creditizable. So you can create credits out of these skills. Somebody takes 60 hours, so 2 credits. 90 hours, 3 credits. 120 hours, 4 credits. And it is for the university to specify that, all right, you take 4 credits in this. possible. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. So this is likely to be ready by about August. My target was that I make it available by July, but अभी उसका जो tender finalize नहीं हो पाया for creating these soft skills. Though the syllabus is ready, syllabus I can share right away. But creating those syllabus into e-skills, that work is on. Now the other is internship the best skill orientation leading to job readiness or employment? What are the challenges of implementation of internship skills in the university system in India? Now let me first make it very clear what is internship and what is apprenticeship and what is project work. ये तीन अलग-अलग तरीके हैं. When you say internship, that means the student has gone through some kind of a theoretical framework and he is now ready to go and work with an industry on a problem which industry provides or work in one of their labs and assist them in doing something which is useful for the industry. So once you send a student on internship, normally what happens? He goes and joins the industry. HR guy will just keep his paper. He will assign him to one of the persons. If that person is good, if that scientist or the engineer is good, he will really make him learn. अगर वो दुखी आत्मा होगा तो वो कहेगा भाई ऐसा करना, आप जाके 3 महीने बाद मेरे से सर्टिफिकेट ले जाना, मुझे परेशान मत करो. But when we send somebody for internship, it can only be characterized if you define the learning outcomes right at the beginning. That you have to say that, all right, once you come back from this internship, these are the learning outcomes we expect, and these outcomes must be designed in collaboration with the industry, and this is how we're going to test you. So once he comes back, you test him. Only then you give him credits. While in apprenticeship, the guy directly goes to that ecosystem, starts working on the job, and he learns on the job. Normally, that should not be allowed for high-end jobs. That should only be allowed for very, very low-end jobs. But apprenticeship is now being tried for middle-level jobs. So what we are doing, we are giving them some package, some theoretical part of learning before they actually go and they try their hands on the job. Actual production line. So that package is given, then he goes and he does that entire thing, apprenticeship, for a year, maximum for 2 years. And then again, he's tested for the learning outcomes. And if he has achieved the learning outcomes, it's fine. Similarly, project work could be a shorter duration of internship. Could be 2 months, could be 1 month. Garmi ki chuttiyon mein de diya project. But again, you have to define the learning outcomes and the way he's going to be assessed. जब तक वो नहीं करोगे, उसको creditize नहीं कर सकते. So once we creditize this project work, the apprenticeship and the internship, that is done in terms of months. तो 12 महीने के 40 क्रेडिट है, तो जितने महीने की इंटर्नशिप है उसके हिसाब से आप देख लो, 3 महीने की इंटर्नशिप है तो उसके 10 क्रेडिट हो गए. So that's how it is done. I hope it is clear. Anybody would like to add anything to this?
So Dr. Kalsi has very clearly elaborated one important component, that is apprenticeship. And like most of the times in the undergraduate programs, there is a challenge because some of the programs have very less opportunity of apprenticeship, which comes under the NAPS, while most of the programs have now been covered, like vocational undergraduate degree programs have been covered. Another way, what we have developed in our university is we have created a campus internship, where students are in large numbers and industries are less, and the scope of doing an paid internship or an internship inside the campus of an industry is lesser. So what our team does is, they work directly. There's a specific team that works directly with the industry professionals, sits with them and tries to understand and identify some of the problems inside the campus of the industry. And based on listing of certain problem statements that the industry professionals gives them, they take a sign off from them, okay, this is your problem. Then the faculty brings that inside the campus and identifies a cluster of students, and through a proper mentoring of the industry remotely, working on that assignment, that also is considered as an internship for the student, because the outcome of that assignment is later assessed by the industry mentor who has been assigned by the industry. Sometimes they pay for it, sometimes they don't pay for it. For example, we had a team working for a local industry, a team of our robotics and mechanical manufacturing students in vocational degree program. There was a manufacturer outside, my MSME, and they were developing a conveyor where the conveyor was sorting these tomatoes and potatoes, vegetables based on size. So what our team did, they worked with them, they developed certain kind of sensors for them and the conveyor in such a way where the bigger one will fall first, then the next size will fall later. So that kind of project was done by our students, and it was done remotely. They would come back to the campus, work on it, and then go back to the site, say once in 15 days. So such things can also be created, and that liberty is given under the NCRF that Professor Kalsi has already mentioned in the beginning.
Thank you. Now the third question is how to implement and then achieve the goals. So implement, are you talking of NCRF, National Credit Framework, or integration of skilling? Dr. Rajan Biswas. Acha, NCRF. See, I would say that for implementing NCRF, first you expose your faculties to NCRF. If there is any difficulty, you come back to us. Normally, we have lots of lectures which are lying on the YouTube. They can go through those lectures. But if your 10, 20 universities, they get together, you fix a day, and I can assign a resource who will do it online, who will take all your questions. And then I am also trying to create a course on implementation of NCRF, understanding of NCRF, and then implementation of NCRF. Okay? We'll do that. So that is already in process. At the same time, the University Grants Commission is holding similar workshops across the country, where normally I go along with Chairman UGC, and we hold a one-day session, and then we talk to all the Vice Chancellors one-to-one, and take all questions for implementation. Similar session is being held in Delhi on 23rd, where we have invited top 200 universities, and we are going to discuss the institute development plan, guidelines for which have been created, and NCRF. Both are going to be discussed. So, yeah, thank you. Sure, please.
Sir, thank you very much for giving the detailed foundation skills you have developed. I didn't have a look at it. Now I will have a look at it. Now, sir, responding to sir, see, these internships for engineering and management. Am I audible? The internships for engineering and management, it looks fine. But what about social sciences and humanities? What should the Vice Chancellor, having those faculties, do for internships? Can you clarify?
Yes, that's a very, very important point. Now, for social sciences, we have so much of work available in the villages around, in small towns around. The kind of projects which we are looking for, how do we lift these people below poverty line? How do we go and help them? How do we perform social re-engineering? No, all those concepts will have to be taught to them, converted into some kind of a project work, as I said, with learning outcomes, some kind of a research work. Something must come out of it, And we must involve the local administration. They are looking for such people. And it will be boon to them if you are able to provide students for undertaking this kind of work. So wonderful, but excellent. You have reminded me. Now I'll go and I'll prepare a template on this.
Sir, can I,
And I'll share that template with everyone.
can I add, sir?
Yeah.
UGC has just 2 months back released the document on internships for 3-year and 4-year undergraduate program, and it talks about in detail about every aspect of the program, whether it's a BA, BSc, BCom, 3-year or a 4-year degree program. The new curriculum framework that the UGC has given, it has also released the internship guidelines. So you can look at that, and what Dr. Kalsi has said is exactly what this document is dealing with.
Yeah, I would like to add, see, there's human values and community engagement. We offer that kind of the project to our student when during the summer, the 2 months, they go to when they go back to their native places, they pick up a village where they will work for 6 to 8 weeks in there, and they will come up what is the uniqueness in that village, what are the best practices, and what have been their learning. Learning is very important, what has been there. And they come with a project report and the engagement with the Gram Pradhan and other stakeholders in the village. And then they present, so that is ranging from 1 to 2 credit depending upon whether they're the PG student or the UG students.
So thank you so very much. I think we have already overshot the session by 10 minutes. Thank you. So I would like to thank all my co-panelists for their cooperation, for wonderful presentations, and for making the subject very, very clear to the audience. And thank you to AIU for organizing this important session. Thank you so very much.
I would now like to call upon the stage Dr. Keshav Sarma sir, VC, Vice Chancellor, ICFAI University, Baddi, Himachal Pradesh, to felicitate Dr. Nirmaljeet Singh sir and Mr. Dwivedi sir. I would like to request Dr. Bijoy Singh sir, Vice Chancellor, ICFAI University, Mizoram, to felicitate our speakers of the session. I would request the President, AIU, GD Sharma sir, and Secretary General, AIU, Dr. Pankaj Mittal madam, to come upon the stage to felicitate our guests.
Gentlemen in the mix.
There is a small announcement for the guests who are leaving early. The lunch is arranged at the Grand Hall, at the Central Hall, from 12:30. For those guests who are leaving early, the lunch is arranged at the Central Hall. As we come to the end of this enlightening session on the future of work and skill development, I want to take a moment to reflect on the valuable insights and discussions that have unfolded here today. The explorations into the dynamics of the evolving workforce and the imperative for skill development has been both illuminating and inspiring. On behalf of the ICFAI family, I, Kushagra Sharan,
And I, Ankita Mishra,
want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speakers, panelists, and participants for their contributions to this session. Your insights, expertise, and passion have been truly inspiring, and I have no doubt that the discussions we have had today will continue to resonate long after we leave this room. With this, we take your leave. We will be joining shortly for the next valedictory session.
Good morning, everyone. Today, we have the privilege of having a distinguished guest among us. Padma Shri Kolakaludi Inak Garu, former Vice Chancellor of Sri Venkateshwara University, Tirupati. He doesn't need any special introduction. The government of India has honored him with Padma Shri, the fourth highest civilian award for all his contributions in the field of literature. We would also like to add he is a very close friend of the founder of ICFAI Group, late Sri N.G. Yashashvi Sir. Sir, we are honored by your presence here. We request you to please come forward. We request everyone to kindly take their seats as the guest has already joined us. Now, we request all our guests to kindly be seated. Padma Shri Kolakaludi Inak Garu, former Vice Chancellor of Sri Venkateshwara University, Tirupati. He doesn't need any special introduction. The government of India has honored him with Padma Shri, the fourth highest civilian award, for all his contributions in the field of literature. We would also like to add, he's a very close friend of the founder of ICFAI Group, late Sri N.G. Yashashvi, sir. Sir, we are honored by your presence here. We would request you to kindly share a few memories with N.J. Yashashvi, sir. Sir,
Hello, yes. We request Padma Shri Kokaluru Inok Garu to please share a few memories with N.J. Yashashvi, sir. Sir, if you can. We request the audience to please be seated. We have a Padma Shri amongst us. We request the audience to please be seated for the next couple of minutes. Thank you so much.
Dear friends, I associated myself with a great soul, Dr. SSV, who happened to be the founder of ICFAI Foundation for Higher Education. I worked closely with him for about 10 to 12 years. I was part of his brainchild, part of ICFAI Foundation, C.P. Brown Academy. He was a great soul and wanted education to flourish in India, to bring the lower grade people to the core of the Indian situation. Now that the leaders of education in India are here, I came here to see you. I'm happy I followed the previous session with rapt attention, and I was very happy to hear them speaking and answering the sessions also. Madam Shobha Rani Garu is a nice lady who is doing wonderful service to perpetuate the memory of late Sri Yashashvi Garu in establishing and running the ICFAI universities all over India. It's a great occasion for me to see all of you here. I had great fond memories of SSV Garu, who is a nice person, a great soul, and a good academic, above all, who loved people of India to come up well in life, and those who are from the lower ranks to be something in society. I always remember his service. In fact, I received an award from ICFAI organization, C.P. Brown Academy, that is Telugu Bharati Award. And I'm the only surviving. I received the award some 15 years back, and I'm happy to be a Kada Telugu Bharati awardee of ICFAI. The ICFAI institutions all over India are doing wonderful service in the field of education and also in the field of original thinking. They want to inculcate in the minds of the young scholars. I have a great pleasure to be here with you and see you and your activity and to learn many of situations. I wanted to, in fact, NGP, after reading NGP, I had so many questions. I got some of them answered here now. I'd like to see all the papers and see what I can do with the NGP in future. I'm happy to see all of you. I'm happy ICFAI hosted this program here. And I'm also happy AIU could conduct its 98th annual meet in Hyderabad under the aegis of ICFAI institution. I'm grateful to all of you. I'm happy to be with you. I thank you, all of you. And I also pay my gratitude to our great soul, my good friend, Mr. SSV. And I congratulate Madam Shobha Rani, who is taking great interest in running these institutions to take the aim and mission of SSV forward. Best of luck to all of you. Thank you so much for giving me this time to be with you. Thanks a lot. Namaste.
We now request Madam Shobha Rani Yashashvi to come forward and present a token of our love to Padma Shri Kola Kaluri Inokji. We would request Professor G.D. Sharma to present a token of gratitude to Padma Shri Kola Kaluri Inokji on behalf of AIU. Madam Shobha Rani Yashashvi is presenting a token of our love to Padma Shri Kola Kaluri Inokji. Thank you, sir, ma'am. We shall now proceed to the valedictory session of the conference. As we gathered here today for the valedictory session of the 98th AIU Annual General Meet and National Conference of the Vice Chancellors, organized by Association of Indian Universities and hosted by ICFAI, Hyderabad, we are filled with a deep sense of gratitude and admiration for the incredible contributions made over the past 2.5 days. We have been fortunate to witness engaging discussions and thought-provoking insights from some of the finest minds. The theme of this meet is Higher Education at 2047, which has provided us with a platform to exchange ideas, network, and collaborate, fostering new partnerships and igniting fresh perspectives. It is clear that knowledge and connections we have gained here will drive us forward in our respective endeavors.
Now, we have among us Professor L.A. Ganesh, Vice Chancellor, ICFAI Foundation of Higher Education, Hyderabad, on the stage. Now, I would like to invite Sri Upendra Tripathi, former IAS, first Director General of the International Solar Alliance, Professor G.D. Sharma, President AIU and Vice Chancellor USTM Meghalaya, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General AIU, Dr. S. Ramadevi Pani, Editor University News, Dr. Alok Mishra, Joint Secretary AIU, to come on stage for the valedictory session. Yes. Dr. Jayanti Ravi, IAS Secretary, ma'am will be, Auroville Foundation will be joining this session online. We would request Dr. Alok Mishra, Joint Secretary AIU, please come on the stage. So can we proceed towards valedictory session? Now, we would request Professor L.S. Ganesh, Vice Chancellor, ICFAI Foundation of Higher Education, Hyderabad, to welcome all our dignitaries on the stage. Yeah. Sir will be welcoming first Sri Upendra Tripathi ji. Professor G.D. Sharma. Dr. Pankaj Mittal ma'am. Dr. Alok Mishra, sir. Dr. S. Ramadevi Pani, ma'am. Dr. Jayanti Ravi, ma'am, we are welcoming you on the session virtually. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your gracious presence. Now, we would request Professor L.S. Ganesh, sir, to address the gathering of the dignitaries. Sir.
Namaste and good afternoon to all the participants. Mr. Tripathi ji, Professor Sharma, Professor Mittal, Alok, Rama, and dear fellow Vice Chancellors, and Srimati Jayanti. Nice to meet you again, Jayanti, after some time. I hope the 3 days, or about 2.5 days that we have spent together would have, above all, helped us forge very strong institutional friendships among ourselves. In fact, one of the guidance points given in the recent new education policy, the national education policy, and also later underscored by the UGC, I had the opportunity for a brief conversation with the chairperson, and he mentioned that if charity begins at home, it's only fair that we forge intra-country institutional partnerships, perhaps as strongly as we can, concurrently with the inter-country institutional partnerships. And I'm sure this forum would have given us that opportunity, to begin thinking of shaking hands with each other institutionally. And there are so many ways in which we can work together. As we can all know, our imagination is our limit. So the less we imagine, the more our limit. And the more we imagine, the better we are. I'm indeed very honored to be with you today in the valedictory function. And I hope that you will carry with you very fond memories and a feeling of fulfillment at this stage of the conference. And if there are any matters by which we may have slipped in our hospitality, you know who will take the responsibility. I bow my head with all humility. Okay? And I hope all of you have been kept comfortable in your stay and your contributions here. Welcome you to this valedictory function, and we look forward to a great association in the times to come. Institution to institution, in India, by India, for India, of India, with India, through India. Bharat Mata ki Jai. Thank you very much.
We would request all our guests to kindly remain seated. We now request Dr. S. Ramadevi Pani, Editor, University News, for the presentation of the report. Dr.
Good afternoon, the August gathering. Honorable President, Association of Indian Universities, Professor G.D. Sharma, Honorable Guest of Honor, Dr. Jayanti Ravi, Secretary Auroville, Honorable Guest of Honor, Shri Upendra Tripathi, First Director General of International Solar Alliance Division and Advisor to CM Odisha, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General AIU, Dr. Alok Mishra, Joint Secretary AIU, and all the Vice Chancellors present here. With the permission of the Chair, I am presenting the report, 3 days Vice Chancellors meet. We have conducted the 98th Annual General Meet and National Conference of Vice Chancellor 2024 on the theme Higher Education at 2047 during April 15 to 17, 2024. It was hosted by the ICFAI Foundation for Higher Education, Hyderabad in blended mode. The chief guest of the inaugural function was Shri C.P. Radhakrishnan, Honorable Governor of Telangana, Honorable Governor of Jharkhand, and Honorable Lieutenant Governor of Puducherry. The distinguished guests on the dais included Professor L.S. Ganesh, Vice Chancellor, ICFAI Foundation, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General AIU, Professor Vinay Kumar Pathak, Vice President AIU, and Professor Madhavi Garikaparthi, Associate Professor, ICFAI Foundation, and of course our President, Professor G.D. Sharma, was there to preside over the session. The session began with ceremonial lighting of the lamp. Professor L.S. Ganesh, Vice Chancellor, Host University, delivered the welcome address. He motivated the session by adding quotes that emphasized on imagination rather than competence. He suggested that innovative ideas need to be applied in higher education for the benefit of society. Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General, in her address, talked about the theme of the conference, Higher Education at 2047, which was chosen specially to support Government of India and the nation to become Vikasit Bharat before it enters the centenary year, that is 2047. She said that this national conference is the culmination of 5 different zonal meets on the sub-themes of this main theme. And she hoped that the recommendations of these sessions will be helpful to the Government of India in its move towards Vikasit Bharat. Professor Vinay Kumar Pathak, Vice President AIU, spoke about National Education Policy 2020 and how it is the first step in achieving 2047 goal of India. Professor G.D. Sharma, President AIU and Vice Chancellor USTM Meghalaya, gave presidential address and mentioned that about different activities undertaken by AIU in sports, culture, and higher education, and various new initiatives taken up by AIU in the recent past. He highlighted that the utilization of artificial intelligence for language translation and integration of online education, particularly in the post-COVID era, which has created new opportunities, and we all should avail them. Professor T.G. Sitaram, Chairman AICT New Delhi and guest of honor of the inaugural session, delivered the AIU Foundation Day lecture. He brought to the limelight that India has accomplished several achievements in the field of research. He informed that India is ranked third globally in producing PhDs, and he gave several such examples where India is achieving. He gave a roadmap for building a future of India. Shri C.P. Radhakrishnan, Honorable Chief Guest of the occasion, mentioned about Amrit Kal that will serve as roadmap for the next 25 years to make Vikasit Bharat. He emphasized the need for the skill development to build new India of 2047. The Chief Guest hoped that our nation would emerge as the world leader in the economy by 2047. There were 4 releases done during the inaugural function by Honorable Chief Guest. First was a book on edited volume on United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, realization of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals through higher education institutions, edited by Dr. Pankaj Mittal and Dr. S. Ramadevi Pani. A report on draft policy on blended learning prepared by Association of Indian Universities and SEMCA was released. The special issue of University News on Higher Education at 2047 was also released, and a handbook of Universities Handbook brought out by the Association of Indian University every year, which contains comprehensive information about Indian universities, was also released. The vote of thanks was delivered by Professor Madhavi Garkaparti, the nodal officer of this meet. We had interface session with heads of apex bodies, which was chaired by Vice President of Association of Indian Universities, Professor Vinay Pathak, and Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General AIU, co-chaired the session. The session featured 3 speakers: Professor Ganesh Kannabiran, Director NAC, Professor Rajiv Kumar, Member Secretary AICT, and Professor T.G. Sitaram, Chairman. AICT was also there in the session, and ICAR was represented by Dr. Seema Jaggi. The key recommendations of this session are the new initiatives undertaken by AICTE and the Vision for Higher Education at 2047, which emphasized research and innovation for digitizing skills along with international collaborations. Simplification process of AICTE, introduction of new courses, and improvement in ease of doing business. This session emphasized the importance of upgrading AI-related skills due to rapid technological advancements and highlighted India's rank as third in globally in PhD production. The technical session on interface with international delegates was also held, which emphasized on international collaborations and partnerships. This session was chaired by Mr. Colin Riordan, Secretary General and CEO, Commonwealth, Association of Commonwealth Universities. Ms. Sujana Mereddy, UCIF Regional Officer, Hyderabad. Mr. Kunal Saigar, Director, International Markets and Affairs, International University of Applied Sciences, Germany. Professor Bhola Thapa, Vice Chancellor, Kathmandu University. Professor Amiya Bhaumik, Vice Chancellor, Lincoln University, Malaysia. Professor Karja Lasha, Director, German Center for Research and Innovation. Dr. Ms. Laura Yan, Vice Secretary, Asian University Sports Federation were the speakers in this session. This ACU was also represented by Aditya Malkani, along with the Secretary General, Mr. Colin Riordan. The key recommendation of this session was more international collaboration is required in enhancing academic strength and knowledge exchange programs between India and Germany and other countries, advocating short-term programs to expose foreign students to Indian education. It proposed utilizing technology to make education more accessible. The first technical session of the conference was on integrating Bharatiya knowledge system with higher education. The session was chaired by Professor Shanti Shri Dhulipudi Pandit. The speakers of this session were Professor Ganti Murthy, Professor Rani Sadasivamurthy, and Professor V. Ramanathan. Professor Ganti Murthy is the Government of India officer for IKS. Professor Rani Sadasivamurthy is Vice Chancellor, Vedic University Sanskrit, and Professor V. Ramanath is Professor at IIT Banaras. The key recommendations of this session were integration of Indian knowledge system through multidisciplinary research, focusing more on implementing NEP 2020 and incorporating Indian knowledge systems, languages, cultures, and values. Integration of Vedas with modern science to create innovative and cross-border culture. More emphasis to be given to importance of collaborative efforts for societal benefit, and advocating for multilingualism and learning more from ancient feminism. The second technical session of the conference was on nurturing research and innovation ecosystem, chaired by Professor Neelima Gupta, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Hari Singh Gaur, University Sagar. The session featured as speakers Professor B.G. Rao, Vice Chancellor, University of Hyderabad, Professor Raj Singh, Vice Chancellor, Jain University, Bangalore, Mr. Rahul Kursrestra, Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor, PSA to Government of India, and Dr. Shubhra Datta from Elsevier. Key recommendations of this session were to include systematic and intensified research and innovation should take place in Indian higher education institutions to come at par with international level. Manthan platform should encourage different activities so that research and innovation go hand in hand. Metrics of institutional performance should not be confined only to H-index. Backbenchers and slow learners also need to be brought into ambit of research and nurture them to help become creative. Industry, academic collaboration, and startup ecosystem needs to be strengthened for the students to grow in research and innovation. The third technical session was on digital transformation in higher education. It was chaired by Professor B.S. Murthy, Director, Indian Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. The session featured as speakers Professor Jagadish K. Patnaik, Vice Chancellor, Nagaland University, Dr. Bashir Ahmed Shadrak, Director, Commonwealth Media Communication Center, Mr. Raghav Gupta, Managing Director, Coursera. Key recommendations of this session were efforts should be made to bridge the digital divide by teaching new digital skills to teachers and students together. Students should know the meaningful use of technology for betterment of society in future, and focus should be on learning digital technology to strengthen academic excellence and drive employability. The session 4 was on globalization and internationalization. It was chaired by Professor S.P. Singh, Vice Chancellor, Assam Royal University, Guwahati. The speakers were Dr. Monica Kennedy from Australia, Miss Alison Barrett from British Council, Sri Anil P. Agrawal, Edify Online, and Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General, AIU. The key recommendation of this session were internationalization of higher education and collaboration need to be boosted, focus on mutual collaboration to diversify and widen access in future, encouraging international exposure will create opportunities. Students should be encouraged to use international certifications in various disciplines that have impact on social, cultural, and political. In this session, INHE, Indian Network for International Higher Education, created by the Association of Indian Universities, was also launched. INI is a structural platform to help universities to network globally. In that, we have international as well as Indian universities. The fifth technical session, which was today, it was on future of work and skill development. It was chaired by Dr. Nirmal Jeet Singh Kalsi, Chairman of National Council for Vocational Education and Training, Government of India. The speakers include Professor Balwinder Shukla, Vice Chancellor, MET University, Noida, Professor Raj Nehru, Vice Chancellor, Sri Vishwakarma Skill University, Gurugram, Haryana, Professor Satyan Gupta, Secretary General, ITU APT Foundation of India. In this session, there was a commencement of AIU VBox Skill India report, for which Mr. Praveen Dwivedi, Senior Vice President, was also there. The commencement was done by Honorable Chairperson of this session, Shri Dr. Nirmal Jeet Singh Kalsi. The key recommendations of this session were skill shift requires reskilling, which requires investment of skills for digital transformation. Immediate change of skills according to industry requirements should be done. National credit framework that integrates learning and credits from school, education and experiential learning should be developed. Transferable skill sets should be developed in students. So this is in brief about what has happened in all these 3 days. And the report was written by the research scholar of this university, Ms. Priyanka and her group. I thank her. And I thank the audience and the august members on the dais for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
We would now request Dr. Pankaj Mittal, Secretary General, AIU, to kindly address the gathering of the dignitaries.
A very good afternoon to all of you, and welcome to the valedictory session. Professor G.D. Sharma, the Honorable President of AIU, Professor Upendra Tripathi, Professor Ganesh, the Vice Chancellor of ICFAI University, Mrs. Jayanti Ravi, who is with us online, Dr. Ramadevi Pani and Dr. Alok Mishra from AIU, all the Vice Chancellors who have come from all over the country to attend this conference. A very good afternoon to you and a very warm welcome to the valedictory session. First of all, I would like to thank ICFAI University, especially Professor Ganesh, the Vice Chancellor, and the coordinator, Dr. Professor Madhavi. I am not able to see her right now. The type of arrangements they have done, the way they have taken care of all of us, even the minutest details, personal care of each one of us, and the way the arrangements were made. I mean, it was a huge conference, so many delegates were there, and so many sessions were there, so many speakers were there, and when you talk of blended education, a lot of connectivity issues, internet issues, bandwidth issues are there, but everything was taken care of by ICFAI University in the best possible manner. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Then I would also like to thank all the Vice Chancellor. I mean, very few occasions I have seen that till the valedictory session, the attendance is so large. So thanks to all of you for being there with us from beginning till end. And when we are together in this journey, we will definitely move ahead. And the theme of the conference, Higher Education at 2047, higher education will really emerge as the main component of Viksit Bharat or developed nation. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thanks to you. I will just talk about one takeaway from each session, which we had in these 5 days. Dr. Ramadevi Pani has already given you the details of every session, but only one takeaway from the point of action point, means what we should be implementing in our universities. So when we talk of Indian knowledge system, the main focus was that most of the universities are wanting to have an IKS cell, and then we keep on sort of saying everywhere that we have an IKS cell in our university, or I have a master's program in IKS. So the recommendation was clear that there is no point in having IKS as a separate unit in a university or as a separate cell or as a master's program. The effort should be made to integrate IKS in each and every course of the university, in each and every program of the university. So IKS should be treated as a minor which is included in all these subjects, so that, I mean, it's not only a few students who are taking that particular program are acquainted with IKS, but all the students of the university are acquainted, because it is as a minor in every program of the university. And for that, especially the faculty has to be trained on how to teach an IKS course. IKS course is not something which anybody can teach. So faculty can teach, but with a proper training. So please invest in training your faculty on IKS, especially IKS relevant to their subject domain. For physics, it will be a different type of training. For chemistry, it will be different. For social sciences, it will be different. So how to train the faculty in IKS-related domains? And if you feel it is important, we can be talking to the government, and AIU can be arranging such training sessions for the faculty in our AADCs, Academic and Administrative Development Centers. So that was the first. Also, one recommendation was also made that when you appoint teachers and when you see net, so if of course you have to see the subject net, I mean subject-wise net has to be completed, but sometimes the students are completing net in two areas, subject plus IKS. So if the students have completed net in IKS in addition to the subject-related net, please give preference to such teachers if we really want to integrate IKS in the teaching learning. In research, there were many recommendations. It was mentioned that if you talk of a research journey for an impactful research, so we move from data to information to knowledge to intelligence to wisdom to impact. So if we really want to have an impactful research, these 6 components are important. Dr. Sancheti told me these 6 components yesterday evening. So these are very important. And research intelligence, there was a presentation. A very good presentation was by Manthan. So this Principal Scientific Advisory Committee to the Prime Minister, so they have opened a portal called Manthan. So it is available at manthan.gov.in. So if you go to that portal, there will be many, many opportunities for the universities to seek government grants or to seek industry grants. So many industries have uploaded their opportunities on this portal. So please tell your faculty and you yourself go on this Manthan platform. It can be a game changer for the university. The way the opportunities are there, but many of our universities are not making use of those opportunities. Some are, but make maximum use of that possibility. Third was on digital transformation, and a very, very important statement was that generative AI will disrupt every occupation, especially educators. And it was mentioned that the impact on educators will be 3 times as compared to the impact on other sessions. So this is very, very important, that how we train our students so that they are digitally ready. And if, like for example, if you talk of, earlier we used to have so many software developers going all over the world, but those software developers who are having only the minimal skill, they were employable till today, till now, but in future they will not be employable because AI will be replacing them. So they have to have something more than the minimal skills to make them employable. And the responsibility for imparting those skills lies with the universities. So we have to help the students, and then it was also mentioned that when we talk of digital transformation, and if a university is digitally transformed, there will be 4 major benefits to the university. 1, it will strengthen its academic excellence. 2nd, it will improve the student employability. 3rd, it will help them in ranking and brand perception. And 4th, it will also accelerate the revenue growth of the university. So revenue will also increase. The 4th session, internationalization. So there a very important thing was our own portal which we have. Our own means our own, not AIU's own. It is our own portal, Indian Network for International Higher Education. And in that portal, please go through that portal, please register, please log in. It is a free login for all the AIU member universities. And then you will see that how fast you can make the interest groups in which you will find another institution or another person with whom you can collaborate. It could be a national person or international person. But once we start using it, we will have such type of collaboration activities. And then another thing which was very, very important, Professor A.P. Agarwal would be here. We launched IFHE Online. IFHE Online, again, is a concept in which, because when you talk of international rankings and benchmarking and NAC rating, a lot is talked about the foreign faculty and foreign students who are present in the university. So for foreign students, AIU is doing now many education fairs, apart from having collaboration portals. But for foreign faculty, which was a major issue because cost is involved with that, foreign faculty is really very, very costly. So we came out with this novel idea that we can have foreign faculty on our campuses at a reduced cost by having the cluster of universities who are having a common course, so that that common course can be imparted collectively to a group of universities and the cost is reduced. And then having a foreign faculty, even if it is sort of a part-time because you are combining with many universities, it helps you in the rankings also. You can say that my university has this foreign faculty. It will benefit your teachers because they can benefit from the international faculty. So please go in for that IFHE Online if you're really keen to have foreign faculty in your universities. And you were also told about the schemes and the scholarships and the fellowships given by UCIF, British Council, Australian High Commission during this session. So this is very, very important. And the last session which was held today, which was on future of work and skills, again, I also came to know for the first time that in our main academic programs, 50% of the programs can be skill programs. So again, that is very, very important. And how, I mean, it is the responsibility of the universities because the world of work is changing very fast. Rather, it is very, very uncertain. We don't even know what the future is. So we have to prepare our students on how to be prepared for that future of work. We were talking of gig economy. Many things were talked about in that session. But the major is that it is the responsibility of our universities to prepare the students in such a manner so that they can take care of the changing, ever-changing or fast-changing future of work. So that is something which is very, very important. So once again, I thank all the Vice Chancellors, ICFAI, the President AIU, AIU team, ICFAI team, who has been working on this conference since a long time and for making it successful. Thank you very much. All the best. Thanks a lot.
We are happy to have with us Sri Upendra Tripathi, former IAS, First Director General of the International Solar Alliance. Sri Upendra Tripathi, former IAS, is the Principal Advisor, Education to the Chief Minister, Government of Odisha. He is the advisor cum working president and chairman of the Executive Committee of Odisha Adarsha Vidyalaya. Formerly, he was the Director General, Medical Services in Indian Air Force. He was the Secretary to the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. He was the first and founding Director General of International Solar Alliance for the first treaty-based international organization headquartered in India. He had a successful tenure as Additional Director General of Armed Forces Medical Services, New Delhi, and Major General Headquarters, Eastern Command, followed by Director General, AFMS, Ministry of Defense. We would request you, sir, to address the dignitaries.
Vice Chancellors from all over the country, friends on the dais, the Association of Indian Universities, ICFAI community here. I'm really so impressed over the last 2 days. I have very few words to express that. Valedictory function is a function that everybody looks for because after this we are all free. I must start, I was a student in a small university in Ottawa in Canada between 92 to 96 where the temperature used to go to minus 55 degrees during winter. We had a professor who used to teach us environmental diplomacy, Salsworth. And he started his entire semester with an anecdote, which is called 50-50 problem. So he gave the example of a country where people eat horse meat and chicken as well. So this professor goes downtown in that country, and then he reads the name of the particular shop, which is written 50/50. So he goes inside, and he asks this shop owner, what is this 50/50? He says, okay, I believe in innovation. It's a startup. I have a new type of meat. It's a mix of horse meat and chicken meat, and 50/50, so I call it 50/50. The professor was very happy. He bought a packet, 1 kilogram, went, cooked it, ate it, and there was no trace of chicken. A little angry. Next day he goes back. He says, look, you told me it's 50/50, but there is no trace of chicken here. He said, no, sir, I never tell a lie. I took a full big horse and a full big chicken, and I thoroughly mixed it. Now, Saul Schwarz would say, this 50/50 problem is everywhere. And the biggest challenge for education, including in Carleton University, was how to address these 50/50 issues, because the way an Indian understands the same problem was different from a Chinese understanding than from a Canadian's understanding. And Prof. Saul was from Israel. Now, even this topic, like, higher education in 2047, today, you as the academic community, you look at this problem from the perspective of curriculum, perspective of communication, articulation, which is desirable, which is how it should be. And, but I worked with prime ministers, I worked with chief ministers. Different people look at this, higher education in 2047 from different point of view. And this is a unique time. We are living in a time when we are witnessing the biggest biodiversity loss. In fact, we're in the middle of the 6th mass extinction. The world has undergone 5 times before. When oxygen appeared on Earth, 90% of life disappeared. You know why. And added to this mass extinction, the loss of biodiversity, we have a problem of pollution. Delhi, if you are there, I think it's equivalent to smoking some 10 cigarettes a day. It's not only air pollution, we're talking about water pollution, talking about soil pollution, talking about pollution all over, the ocean pollution, for example. And added to these 2 crises, you have the master crisis, and that you all know, global warming. In Orissa, for example, last month, we preponed the schools to 7 o'clock in the morning because the heat was so much. But then also students felt so hot after 11, we now prepone to 6:30 in the morning. Now think of 2047. Now, global warming and the issue of heat strokes, sunstrokes is only one small example. We are talking about inundation of several cities in the coastline. We are talking of disruption in agriculture. We are talking about disruption in the carbon storage capacity of soil. We are talking about disappearance of forests. We are talking about, disturbance in the pattern of monsoons, loss of biodiversity. In such a, critical period, how does higher education respond to these issues? Right now, we have a strategy we call strategy of mitigation, of adaptation, of loss and damage control. Now, how do we mitigate? Do we make a start saying that all institutions of higher education will be net zero by 2070, which the government of India has promised, or which is a need? And what does it mean to be net zero? And it is not only being net zero, how do we take other measures of mitigation? How do we adapt to these several disruptions that will happen in weather, in climate, in monsoon, in soil maintenance? How do we respond to all this? How do we prepare the students to respond to all this? Do we prepare a manpower in the society which can meet these needs? Singapore right now, in many places they are doing research. If in the North Pole the ice disappears, it'll cut down the traffic cost of transportation between Singapore and Canada and Russia a lot. They're working out how much is going to be less if the North Sea disappears. China, for example, is discovering day after day, inventing new type of ice breakers. so that they can pass through that small track even with ice. And so if you look at the type of change in the skill set of people, and I was so happy to see the report in the morning. The areas they're covering are actually vast. So the point I'm trying to make is a big challenge. We're in the period of crisis, and by 2047, it is going to be much worse. Because if you look at the carbon budget of the earth, no matter who took it away, whether it is if you, in a sense of justice, if you look, the per capita coal consumption today in India is what was per capita coal consumption in USA 250 years back. But then I remember an Honorable Prime Minister brought International Solar Alliance. We all inside thought, what is this crazy thing? You know, solar, everything is solar. And one day we asked him, why this? And he was frank enough to say that, look, the international diplomacy is such that at some point, suddenly, like Paris Agreement came in 2015, you may get an agreement banning fossil fuels. And then India should be prepared. But the most impressive research I found on solar was in Germany. We went to a German lab. They have put several antennas where the solar light can be focused. And they focused it on a 1 foot long candle made up of iron. And this beam of solar light only took 2 minutes to melt it. And I asked them, what do you do it in Germany? No, they said, we are not making it for Germany, we are making it for India. In the metallurgy sector, we use so much of heat, and we need very intense heat. And they were developing those technologies for India, not for Germany. But the point is that by 2047, not only the challenges of land, manpower, capital, technology, they are going to be pretty demanding. And those technologies of mitigation, of adaptation, of loss and damage. So it's going to be a much more complex world in addition to the type of curriculum that we will develop, the type of skill sets we will give. And I'm very happy that these issues have been directly or indirectly hinted at. And I'm sure next year when Association of Indian Universities will be 100 years old, all this 98, I didn't understand, frankly, because it should be 100, I think, or 99. It'll be a different thing, and I'm sure they must have already planned how to make it a mega event where all these challenges can be captured. And higher education in 2047, we can have a better picture, more comprehensive picture, a picture that will give a roadmap. When I would like to know American students coming to India and doing their masters, we may not charge $88,000 per year, but at least they'll come to our universities. Thank you.
Now, we are happy and honored to introduce Dr. Jayanti S. Ravi Ma'am, Secretary of the Auroville Foundation, Tamil Nadu. A scientist, civil servant, performing vocalist, administrator, thinker, and a widely traveled development practitioner, Dr. Jayanti Ravi entails myriad realms of experience in her multifaceted character. Her professional repertoire includes serving as DDO in Sabarkantha, Collector of Panchmahal, Director of NAC in the Prime Minister's Office, in addition to Principal Secretary and Commissioner, Rural Development, Gujarat. She has championed the Swachh Bharat Mission and rural sanitation in the state for 2 consecutive years. Under her leadership, with strategic intervention and innovative approaches, the SDG ranking of Gujarat on good health and well-being, that is goal number 3, as evaluated by Niti Aayog and the United Nations, has dramatically improved from the 17th rank nationally in 2018-19 to the 1st rank nationally in 2021. Ma'am, we are happy to have you, and we would like to request you to address the delegates. Thank you, ma'am.
Namaste to all of you. I hope I'm audible. Sure, I presume I'm audible. I'm extremely happy to be here at the valedictory session of all the honorable vice chancellors of the country. I'm very happy that the Association of Indian Universities has been doing this consecutively, and all the dignitaries on the dais, and all of you who are connected with education. It's a pleasure to get this opportunity to interact with you. And I would say that broadly, just as a few minutes ago, Upendra Tripathi ji spoke about his experiences. I want to start by saying that some years ago, when I was studying and doing my master's at Harvard University, we had a professor who would say that no matter what be your pedigree, but when you start teaching or when you start working in an organization, all that patina may be there for a few moments, for a few minutes. People may listen to you because you belong to this institution of higher education, you belong to this institute of national importance and so on. But beyond that, the patina wears away, and it's exactly the chemistry. What is it that you are able to offer to your students? What is it that you can actually create together? That is what can inspire them. And the same thing was also emphasized by another faculty member from a course on public narrative, who, and I have the privilege of mentioning it, paraphrasing it by saying that it's not the gloss which is so important, because a lot of universities spend a lot of time on various implements in the toolkit, but just as they are important, equally important is the human being within. The gloss is important, but so is the glow, so that we can withstand various challenges, ravages of time, and so on. So now, as we're all firmly saddled in this whole movement of towards the Amrit Kal, the 100 years of independent India as she emerges in the context of the new education policy, the far-reaching changes that have been brought about, governance, kind of global leadership that India is taking. And also in the same breath, if we look at all the conflicts that we see the world over, the crisis, when it is not that we have a problem of scarcity of food, energy, and so on, but it's also about the problem of human nature, where there are conflicts we're not able to, the intellect alone is not able to address these problems. I think the gist of what India would have to specially curate and create, if we were to have a special edge for dealing with the world, the crisis that the world offers in 2047, would have to be something different for really coming up to matching what is required of her as a Vishwa Guru. And in that context, I would think of three things that sum this up. One is an approach that really blurs the boundaries. We've had a lot of the slicing, dicing, silos. So if there is a way to have an approach overall that can really blur the boundaries and have a more synthesizing, harmonizing approach to different disciplines of knowledge. And yet, as you blur the boundaries, there's also an imperative, important need to deepen with diversity, the dimension of digital technology, all the tools that have at hand to really deepen, go deeper into rigor, approach it in different ways. And the third, which I think is extremely, is also fusing consciousness and really harness and harvest the essence of oneness. The key message that Indic knowledge systems also give, because we talk of unity in diversity, but the other way of looking at it is in the diversity of the inherent unity that we see manifest in the way. The blurring of boundaries, our institutions, which is already happening, the NEP is a great beginner. It's giving a lot of context to really set the ball rolling in this direction. How is it that we create structures and mechanisms that will really help blur these boundaries with having more and more emphasis on multidisciplinary approaches where a student of physics can interact with a student of medicine, a student of art, and I heard in the question and answer session, what is the role of humanities, arts? I think all of these have a very important role. How can we bring them and provide these pathways of learning for students, be able to explore all of these and blur these boundaries? But in the same breath, how is it that we can also allow for flexibility fortifying students and people with choices that not only lead them to the immediate getting or earning their degrees, the credits to earn a degree, but also really move them more and more towards becoming lifelong learners. And here, the PhD project that I had the special privilege of working on was something related to MOOCs. Back then, at a time when IIT Madras, so Professor LS Ganesh, when he was there as well, Professor Anand, and the entire team, there was something called NPTEL at that time, and which has now gotten transformed into Swayam, and now the MOOC platforms are something we're really looking at across the world. And then if we can really look at how is it that AI, ML can help us go deeper, and how these virtual classrooms, how is it that we can really offer customized courses for students from different backgrounds, digital libraries, personalized digital libraries for people to go back to. In the same breath, how do we allow for global collaboration? And as was mentioned, charity begins at home. And I would also like to take this opportunity. We too, Auroville may surprise, it may surprise all of you, many of you, that Auroville is also an institution of higher education. We are anchored under the Ministry of Higher Education in Delhi, and we actually are set up as by an act of parliament, and it was founded in 1968 by the spiritual collaborator of Sri Aurobindo, a great son of India, the mother. But later on in the 1980s, it was the government had to step in, and we have an act of parliament by which Auroville Foundation is actually functioning today. And in that context, we would love to have students from different disciplines of all your universities come to Auroville as volunteers, as interns, and also as fellows. You can look at various aspects, research, innovation. There are so many possibilities. Skill development too, because in all about 700 units, activities ranging from making spirulina, which is a wonder food, a lot of you may have heard of it, to some of the best bakery and confectionery products that you would get maybe in the top European cities today, to being net positive. This is an entity. We have some amazing work that has happened also in the area of environment, sustainability, afforestation. We have done afforestation in places across the world, sometimes where the survival rate is more than 80%, as against a norm rate of 20% survival in many cases, and 80% being lost. But along with this, when we look at this blurring boundaries, inclusivity, diversity, all kinds of ethnicity, socioeconomic backgrounds, diversity, gender, equal opportunities for all become very important too in this new paradigm. And then, if we also look at the aspect of really diversity, digging deep and going deep into various things, how is it that we can bring about assessment, reforms in assessment, instead of having the conventional way of assessing? Can we have other ways which include such immersions, such possibilities of really which encourage and enable critical thinking, intuitive thinking, which is now going to be the main order of the day as we move forward. And finally, as we move more and more towards the 100th year of India's independence, the importance of also creating citizens, not just during the course of their sojourn in the academic institutions, but a lifelong journey of being conscious citizens from the environment point of view, from the human point of view, more humane individuals who can create and perform any task, any of these challenges, whether it's research, extension, training, or education, or co-locating even at the shop floors of industry. Can we have academic courses actually happening there? Not just faculty members going there, but can we have courses where an entire semester can be done in the shop floor of an industry? All these possibilities, but in the consciousness. So when we look at that, we also come to the contributions that Sri Aurobindo has made. And I would say that his whole emphasis was on synthesizing the researches and development on the material aspect, along with a journey inward of being more and more conscious about various things. And the two are not exclusive mutually. So it is possible to have something which is really founded on prosperity, abundance, and beauty, aesthetics, and yet be anchored in a state of consciousness. And if this approach can be inculcated in all our students, not just as an add-on, one particular course, but as Pankaj Mittalji mentioned, if these approaches, these attitudes can be inculcated in every discipline, it becomes a part of their nature. And this is something that we world over today, we're also looking at consciousness studies. We have scientists, we have for example, Institute of Noetic Sciences, Dean Radin, several others working on this, and physicists are coming very close to what is the meaning of consciousness. And India could really play a very important role in this as well. So therefore, in summing up all of this, I would say if we can really inculcate in our students absolute academic rigor, excellence, critical thinking skills, all of it, but along with it, what is our own USP, the gift of India to the world, the possibility of really having this intuitive intelligence, which comes with that sense of faith, sincerity, and surrender. If that can also be incorporated in the studies, not as some add-on, but as an integral part of any of the disciplines of knowledge that our students pursue and adapt. So on that note, I want to again congratulate AIU, the ICFAI team, and all of you for this very, very invigorating and very interesting academic discussion and intellectual feast, and with a lot of very practical aspects. It's not just about talking in the air, but then many practical inputs. I was listening to the earlier session. I'm very glad that you're all here. I want to wish you all the very best, and again extend a very warm welcome to all of you to come to Auroville, which is very close to Pondicherry, but technically located in Tamil Nadu. And we are also a part of the higher education institutions of India. We have people from 60 countries living here. And it is meant to be a beacon, a lighthouse for the world as it could be in the years to come. And so as we talk of higher education in 2047, what you see here, some aspects of it could by far be a bit of a harbinger, a taste of what things could be in the years to come. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you, ma'am. We would request now Professor G.D. Sharma, President AIU and Vice Chancellor, USTM Meghalaya, for the presidential address.
It's good. Thank you very much. And on this very important concluding session of AIU, we have Honorable Vice Chancellor of ICFAI University, Professor Ganesh, and the host of the conference and meet, Professor Dr. Upendra Tripathi ji, the Principal Advisor to the Honorable Chief Minister Odisha and Director General, the first Director General. We have Secretary General, Madam Dr. Pankaj Mittalji, a very dynamic leader, a very dynamic Secretary General who has created vibrancy in the functioning of the AIU, a very active editor, Dr. Rama Pani, who has been always very, very active in academic, getting the journal coming in time, and Dr. Alok Mishra from our Joint Secretary, AIU, all highly respectable and honorable Vice Chancellors who have come here to contribute and also make AIU more rich through their knowledge, and also giving support, encourage that how it can further be more productive. The industry people, the experts, both in physical and online mode. At the outset, I would like to thank the host, IFHE Hyderabad, especially Professor Ganesh and his team, to take this grant and very great moment of the process of learning, that the higher education at 2047, that how this vision could be achieved. For the first time, we are having vision of 4-7. Generally, we used to have the vision what next year we will do and what after 2 years, but this is the first time. So with this, our whole AIU team, under the leadership of Dr. Pankaj Mittal and Dr. Ganesh, the whole team, they have made it so successful, especially selecting the place. So till last moment, this is for the first time that we have so many honorable vice chancellors that they have become learners. Otherwise, they are leaders, still leaders, but less learners. Now we can see they are more learners. That is what it is required, that unlearn, learn and relearn. So that indicates that they are truly following NEP 2020, and what we feel now after listening to these presentations by the experts, that the education is also coming to fulfill the thoughts of our great leader, Mahatma Gandhi ji, who said in 1937 that the education of our country has to again revamp and come out with 3H, the head, heart and hand. So now skill is reskilling, new skilling, all are becoming hand, because so far we were only giving more emphasis on head. But still, the heart is missing, which will make the character of our children. And therefore, this also has to be incorporated. This national conference has fallen when 100th year has begun. That means in this year, centenary year of AIU, total pyramid has to change. Just a few minutes back, Dr. Kalsi ji said that we have to bring the social media into learning. Micro-learning means not this one. Whereas our Indian traditional system of learning was based on mythology. Today we are going to nanoscience. Mythology also, deep observations, doing the experiments with nature and bringing out the conclusion. Whereas the science also has the same critical observation, but experiments in lab, small area. Then take it to the nature. This is the only difference. So that repetition is easier, and this repetition can bring the business. Whereas our only mythological approach was not for business, but for sustainability of humanity, bringing peace, and that is how the thoughts of Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Nirama, these thoughts were coming. Global citizenship, everyone same, all these thoughts were coming because the approach of our learning was toward the holistic one, peace, not the learning for creating business. not individualistic growth. Now we are seeing one person, richest person in the world. No. Which is the richest community in terms of learning, finding the truth? That was the approach. I am sure I will not take much time because all of our Honorable Vice Chancellors, they have planned their visit to different places. But I really feel honored that last year you gave so many suggestions. We tried to incorporate and take some new initiatives in this national meeting and also the national conference. So many suggestions have come. This will make AIU to work, bring them, synthesize them, and to add to the new initiatives, as well as to further take those initiatives to bring our universities into new mode of fast delivery of the knowledge, involving the youths, making them more productive, converting the universities into giving opportunities to the youths to make use of their knowledge, as Dwivedi also said that the skill could be either with the industries or bring industries to the campus itself. So with this, I personally thank each one of you giving your so much precious time, all the 3 days here, and also making the AIU's approach more productive and more futuristic looking to give more and more, both bringing the government policies as well as bringing the university system of our country, the largest system, taking it into playing important role, not only the third biggest economy, but one of the first or largest socio-economy of the world. Thank you very much. Namaskar to each one of you.
We would now request Dr. Alok Mishra, Joint Secretary, AIU, to deliver the vote of thanks.
आज के समापन समारोह में मंच पे साक्षात प्रोफेसर गणेश जी विद्वान हैं। आपको बहुत बहुत नमस्कार, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और आप समझ सकते हैं कोई भी कार्यक्रम का प्रारंभ बिना भगवान गणेश की वंदना के नहीं होता है, तो ऐसे वंदनीय स्वयं हमारे साथ हैं और जिन्होंने इस पूरे कार्यक्रम में एक जो कहते हैं कि शुभता, शुभ लाभ और शुभ भारतीय दर्शन की बात हो रही थी, तो ऐसे आपके यहाँ इसका होने से ही मात्र से जो है इस पूरे कॉन्फ्रेंस की जो ऊंचाई है वो एक नए ऐतिहासिकता को जो है कहीं दर्ज कर रही है। आप महान कुलपति महोदय, वाइस चांसलर महोदय, आप दुनिया के उन महान लोगों में से हैं। दुनिया की करीब 700 जो है करोड़ जो पॉपुलेशन है उसमें से हम अभी 25,000 सिर्फ वाइस चांसलर हैं पूरी दुनिया में। आप उनमें से वो महान लोग हैं जिनको ईश्वर ने आपको किस संस्थान को हेड करने का मौका दिया है। तो आपकी इस महानता और उस महानता में आपकी कर्तव्यनिष्ठा के साथ आप यहाँ उपस्थित हैं, इस गरिमा के साथ आपको हम हृदय से बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत आभार व्यक्त करते हैं और हम ईश्वर से प्रार्थना करते हैं कि आपको यशस्वी और आपको बहुत अच्छा स्वास्थ्य और बहुत अच्छी मेधा दे, जिससे कि आप शिक्षा व्यवस्था के निर्माण में शिक्षा व्यवस्था को विश्व के लिए एक नई ऊंचाई और एक नए आयाम पे ले जाए। जहां आपकी उपस्थिति ने इस कार्यक्रम की शोभा को बढ़ाया है, वहीं पर 2047 में जब जिसके शिक्षा के इतिहास को देखा जाएगा तो इस समापन समारोह को इंगित किया जाएगा। ये सब रिकॉर्डेड हो रहा है इतिहास के पन्नों में जो है, तो आप उस इतिहास के पन्नों में आपकी उपस्थिति और आपने जिस रूप में आप सबने चर्चा किया तमाम विषयों पे जो है, उन चर्चा से ये पूरा हॉल झंकृत है और आपके लिए जोरदार तालियां बजाने के लिए उद्युक्त है। वो आपकी उपस्थिति, इस आपकी मंच की उपस्थिति जो है हमारे बीच में यहाँ उपस्थित इस पूरे कार्यक्रम की जो पूरी पीठिका जो है, आपको मालूम है कि आदरणीय हमारे जीडी शर्मा साहब जो भारतीय विद्यालय संघ के अध्यक्ष हैं, साथ साथ वो एक चिंतक भी हैं। लगातार आपकी जो हम लोगों को सेवाएं, हम मार्गदर्शन दूर रहते हुए हमेशा जो है तत्परता के साथ मिलता रहता। सर आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत प्रणाम आपको। आपने हमेशा हम लोगों को संबल दिया है और सर स्वयं हर जगह के द्वारा देश में एक नई आगाज और एक नई व्यवस्था का जो है उस संचालन भी हो। हम साथ साथ यहाँ पर जहाँ पर इस मंच पर जो है उड़ीसा सरकार के जो मुख्यमंत्री वहाँ पे हैं, यशस्वी मुख्यमंत्री हैं, उनके एडवाइज़र आप सोच सकते हैं, उनकी सलाह समिति में और वहाँ की शिक्षा व्यवस्था और उसके इकोसिस्टम के सलाहकार के रूप में प्रोफेसर त्रिपाठी सर भाई हैं। सर आपको बहुत बहुत नमस्कार, बहुत धन्यवाद कि आप यहाँ उपस्थित हुए। ये मैं कुछ नाम यहाँ पर जो है इतना यहाँ के इस कार्यक्रम व्यवस्था में बहुत से लोगों की बहुत सारी जो है वो उनकी सहभागिता रही है। हम सभी को धन्यवाद करते हैं। साथ साथ में इस कार्यक्रम का जो ये कहूँगा कि यहाँ के जो बेसिकली चेयरपर्सन है मैडम, शायद मुझे लगता है मैडम उपस्थित हैं, यहाँ पर हैं शोभा रानी यशस्वी मैडम। मैडम आपको बहुत बहुत नमस्कार कि आपने इस कार्यक्रम को आपने अपने यहाँ होस्ट करने में अपनी पूरी सहभागिता दी है और आप यहाँ उपस्थित हैं और आप कल्चर नाइट और विभिन्न कार्यक्रमों में भी आपको हमने देखा और मैडम आकर के पीछे बैठती हैं। मैंने देखा कि कार्यक्रम को आपने स्वयं साक्षात देखा है। इस कार्यक्रम को जो है इस साथ साथ श्री शंकर जी जो यहाँ के अध्यक्ष हैं इक्फा के, उनको भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि वो इसकी कार्यक्रम की मेंटरिंग लगातार कर रहे हैं। प्रोफेसर जे महेंद्र रेड्डी साहब आप यहीं पर हैं। सर बहुत बहुत नमस्कार। आपने बहुत लंबे समय तक वाइस चांसलर सेवा की है और आप यहाँ पर एडवाइज़र के रूप में हैं और आपके यह जो है ऊर्जा और आपके द्वारा जो गाइडेंस है उससे यह कार्यक्रम ये रूप में आगे पहुँचा है। साथ साथ हम लोगों के बीच में जो इस कार्यक्रम की जो ये कहूँ कि यहाँ की जो नोडल ऑफिसर हैं जो उसमें जो है प्रोफेसर माधवी गरिका पार्थी जी, प्रोफेसर माधवी यहाँ होंगे। मुझे लगता है कि उनके लिए वो जोरदार तालियां कि वो लगातार अकेली वन मैन सारे कार्यक्रम को वो लगातार वो संभालती रही हैं। प्रोफेसर माधवी आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। हम हृदय से साथ साथ यहाँ पर जैसे कि इस पूरे समारोह में हम जो देख रहे हैं तो हमने कहा हमारे पास एक पूरी टीम जो पीछे खड़ी है माधवी के नेतृत्व में यहाँ पर कुशाग्र द्विवेदी, अंकिता मिश्रा, शाश्वत चक्रवर्ती, सत्यम चक्रवर्ती, प्रियंका, सुप्रियो, ब्रजेश, उत्कर्ष, ब्रह्मन, शिवानी, अंकुश, ये तमाम ऐसे नाम हैं जो मैं समय की सीमा है तो मैं उन सभी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूँ। अंकुश एंड श्रावणी और ये सभी लोग जो है मुझे लगता है आगे पीछे कहीं उपस्थित हैं और बहुत सारे ऐसे बच्चे हैं जो वॉलंटियर्स हैं, सभी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। यहाँ की जो मीडिया टीम है और यहाँ पर जो आईटी को संभाल रहे हैं और जो ये लगातार एक पैरों पे खड़े हुए जो यहाँ के फोटोग्राफर्स आप देखे पीछे, तो ये सारे लगातार इस पूरे कार्यक्रम की ऐतिहासिक रिकॉर्डिंग भी कर रहे हैं। तो आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि आप सबने अपनी पूरे समय और प्रदृढ़ता के साथ आप सबने यहाँ उपस्थिति है। हमारे साथ साथ हमारे बीच में जो है AIU ऑफिसर्स हमारे मैडम रमा पानी जी जो यूनिवर्सिटी हमारी जो न्यूज़ है उसके एडिटर हैं और साथ साथ पूरे इस कार्यक्रम में लगातार हम लोगों के बीच में जो है वो एकेडमिक रूप में पूरा उपस्थित रहती हैं, सारा मार्गदर्शन करती रहती हैं मैडम बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका। साथ साथ विजेंद्र हमारे साथ बीच हैं जो लगातार आपसे कम्युनिकेशन में लगातार बने रहते होंगे। विजेंद्र जी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। विजेंद्र यहीं कहीं उपस्थित हैं तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। साथ साथ हमारे पीछे पूरी टीम काम कर रही जो है, जो दिल्ली में बैठे पूरी टीम को देखती चीज़ों को, उनमें से हमारे स्पोर्ट डिवीजन में वहाँ पर डॉक्टर शेखो हैं, डॉक्टर बलजीत सिंह शेखो साहब वहाँ पर हैं हमारे साथ, वहाँ पर डॉक्टर कुलदीप डागर जी, डॉक्टर अमरेंद्र पानी जी और वहाँ पर हमारी जो है जो कहते हैं फाइनेंस डिवीजन को हमारे वहाँ पर रंजना परिहार जी और ऐसे संदीप कुमार, बहुत से लोग जो है पीछे वहाँ काम कर रहे हैं। मैडम की ऑफिस में वहाँ पर लगातार आप कम्युनिकेशन को संभालते, लगातार वहाँ पर जो है हमारे जो है अन्य जो साथी वहाँ पर हैं उन सबको भी धन्यवाद, क्योंकि सभी ऑनलाइन जुड़े हुए हैं। तो ये सारे जो लोग हैं उन सबकी जो है वो सहभागिता और सहयोग के द्वारा ये कार्यक्रम यहाँ तक पहुँचा है। हम ऐसी अपेक्षा भी करते हैं कि ये सहयोग लगातार बना रहे। ये भारत के नवनिर्माण नहीं, ये शिक्षा व्यवस्था की एक नई पार्टी के निर्माण की चीज़ है। तो हम आप सबको एक बार पुनः बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करते हैं। नमस्कार।
Now, we would request Madam Shobharani Yashwashvi to please come forward. I would request Professor L.S. Ganesh sir, please come forward. Ma'am and sir will be jointly felicitating Sri Upendra Tripathi ji. Professor G.D. Sharma ji. Dr. Pankaj Mittal ma'am. Dr. Alok Mishra ji. Dr. S. Ramadevi Pani ji. I would like to request Mr. Vijendra Kumar sir, please come on the stage. Mr. Vijendra Kumar sir, please come on the stage. Madam and sir will be felicitating Mr. Vijendra Kumar sir. Now, I would request Professor G.D. Sharma sir and Dr. Pankaj Mittal ma'am to kindly felicitate Sri Upendra Tripathi ji.
May I please request Professor Madhavi Garikapathi to come on stage for a group picture.
we express our heartfelt gratitude to all the dignitaries for their gracious presence at the 98th AIU Annual General Meet and National Conference of Vice Chancellors organized by the Association of Indian Universities and hosted by ICFAI University, Hyderabad. We personally thank myself, Shantani,
me, Shashwati,
each and everyone who put their shoulder to the wheel and made this event a grand success. Thank you, everyone. Wishing you all a very happy Ram Navami. Before we part, we would request everyone please stand for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
We shall now proceed towards lunch, which will be arranged in the central buffet area. I would request all the research scholars of ICFAI Business School to please come forward for a group photo. I would request all the team ICFAI, please come forward for a group photo. Team ICFAI, please come forward for a group photo.
Team ICFAI, everyone, please come on the stage for a group photo.
Our very dear BBS students, please come on stage for a group photo.
Our IT team, please. Gopi sir, please come on stage.